All right, hello and welcome to the Space Jumper Podcast. My name is Jared and I am your host, along with my co-host, Barry Ramirez. And today we actually have a very special guest in the house, and one that I'm very excited to speak to today because you're doing some really amazing things in life and making hell of progress through this journey. Mr. Adrian Yanez.
Hey man, hey, how you doing? Doing good?
Yes, and of course Larry. So,
who's very eager to play.
Yes, he is. Yeah, man, and he finds that toy everywhere. Man, I try to hide it because it's so loud when I get to talking.
Yeah.
And he finds it in like the crevices that I hide it in. So, anyways, actually, thank you, both of you gentlemen, for coming today. I know it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, and you know there's tequila out there to drink. So, but yeah. So, first off, man, I would really like to know about your background because, everybody's like, oh, like you watch UFC and you see all these fighters on TV. And, everybody has their own journey, but it always starts out somewhere, and there's always like a base, like of something that, a turning point when you were young or something like that kind of led to this. So how did you get started on this path?
Man, honestly, I think everything kind of just started off with my dad. Like my dad was really big into boxing, especially growing up. He was a boxer, amateur boxer. He won Golden Gloves a couple times. And for me, like it kind of turned into like a little family thing where almost every weekend there was big boxing fights going on and we'd kind of get together, and that was almost kind of like a bonding time. And there would be a lot of times on a Friday, it was like Friday night fights where like even like Teddy Atlas would be out there like speaking, talking about the fights and all that stuff. And I just always had those good memories with me and my dad just watching boxing, me, my dad, my brother. So it just was one of those things that like I saw his passion for boxing, and it just was like it felt like I already knew what I wanted to do. Because again, like as I was younger, I didn't like of course I'd play like Mario and all that stuff, but the stuff that I would really play would be like WCW on the Nintendo 64. Yes. And then Mortal Kombat. I wasn't really a Street Fighter guy, so it was like Mortal Kombat, WCW, WWE, all that stuff. Just anything that had to do with like fighting, I just wanted to play that instead. So it kind of just grew up like wanting to do something that involved it, and that's where my love of like fighting came from. Then, like, I was really big into boxing. Like I didn't know that I didn't know that there was boxing gyms around Houston and all that stuff. Like I was still very young. Like we didn't know there like how to access this. We like there at that time there wasn't like no Google would be like, hey, find me a boxing gym, find me an MMA gym or something like that. But like for me. Because like I think there was one time I went to one boxing gym, but at the same time, there was a lot of personal stuff going on that like we couldn't move forward with it. I remember going and just being like, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. I really want to do this. But personal stuff aside, because my dad was an alcoholic and all that time during that time, so it kind of stopped us from moving forward with it. But that's honestly just how I fell in love with it, and it just kind of just put me in a path of like following what I wanted to do.
Did you have a favorite boxer that you watch?
Favorite boxer that like growing up, what I wanted to watch always was Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, yeah.
Manny Pacquiao was just one of those guys that I just always consistently wanted to watch. I just look over to the corner of my eye, just hot.
Yeah, like, Larry's got some serious hot points.
Yeah, so
let me get his toy real quick for him.
Did you train with your father growing up?
Not as much because he was always working. He was consistently working I would say everybody likes to say 9 to 5, but it was really more than that. Like he'd wake up at 6, go to work at 7. Sometimes didn't come home till like 7 or 8 at times, And the weekends, most of the time he'd be exhausted, be tired. So most of those times he wanted to spend time with the family. So. There's like we had every once in a while on the weekends he would show us some stuff, but most of the time it was just like us hanging out, watching the fights and all that stuff. But what's crazy is like my first gym that I found was because of my mom.
Really? Yeah, how'd that happen?
So it was like one summer, and it was like a 2-week span of like me just being bored at the house. My brother had a job; he was working, so for me, I was bored. Everybody
How
else.
old were you, bro?
I was like 15. I was 15.
Okay.
So all my friends were gone, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, what am I gonna do? And then my mom walks into the room and is like, "Hey, you want to go to the mall with me?" I was like, "I have nothing else to do. I am down. I'm down." So we go to the Baytown Mall, the San Jacinto Mall, and that mall, like, you can literally count all the cars in the parking lot. And we walk in, and I remember just seeing a gym and just like getting really intrigued and seeing it. And I was like, "Hey, Mom, like, I know we're here shopping, but do you mind if I go take a look at this?" And I saw it, and I spoke to who I call my MMA mom now. I was like, Miss Belinda Serrano. I remember talking to her, and she was like, "Yeah, we have cardio, we have this, we have that," and started showing me all the classes. And I remember doing the kickboxing class and just being like, "Oh no!" After one day, I was like, "I have to do this. I got to come back. I want to do more." And I went the other 2 days because they offered a 3-day free trial, and I remember doing the classes, and I just really loved it. But then it wasn't immediate. I didn't get signed up till like 2 or 3 months later, and that's pretty much where my mom and dad came in. They're like, "Hey, like, we signed you up." I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" And then come to find out, it wasn't even kickboxing. I was in cardio kickboxing. I love that. I was in cardio kickboxing.
One time he put his paw up there and jacked my AirPods.
Oh shit!
I didn't find them till after, and they were chewed.
Yeah. So pretty much, I found out like very quickly. I didn't get signed up for the stuff that I wanted. I was doing cardio kickboxing with everybody else, and I'm just sitting back like, damn, man. What the hell? What the fuck?
They probably weren't teaching you any techniques or
anything.
No,
I just like, hey, just 1-2s in the bag for 3 minutes, and then after that we're going to squats, then we're kicking, we're kneeing. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted, but got me in shape, and then they pushed me to start doing jiu-jitsu. Like the people there, like Jordan Rivas, Robert Yamashita, all of them, they were telling me to start doing jiu-jitsu. And I remember doing my first jiu-jitsu class, and I was like, I have to do this. Like, I have to do that. And then it just steamrolled. Like, I was like, this is what I'm doing. And I spent Monday through Friday nights there. And like, it pretty much, I lost a friend social group. Like,
yeah, but gained a lot too, I'm sure,
yeah.
because I actually just started at the gym that I was telling you about at Gracie Bar over on West Chase. And Barry was the one that talked me into going. And so the first time I went, I think the first week, I went for 4 days. And for 4 days straight, I was throwing up by the end of it. And so, man, it's insane. The cardio that you have to have is just ridiculous. Lifting your leg and, blocking and kicking. And I think yesterday I got kicked in the leg so hard, I was just like, oh, that's what this feels like. So, doing it professionally it's a whole nother amount of respect, because you have to know what you're doing when you're going in there. You have to be fully prepared, and you have to be aware of what options that your opponent has, and how to defend, and how to also attack. So man, it's a very technical sport, and I think I was telling Barry recently, you can't be dumb and fight also, because those two it doesn't go hand in hand. Or you'll end up seriously injured. But yeah, man, it's crazy that, you started at 15 years old, started in a gym, kind of working on, I guess, some basics, and then you found jiu-jitsu, and then over time, looking back, you've been able to mold both of those together into the fighter that you are today. And also, you got a serious hook on you. You
serious
said
overhand.
Yeah, you were talking about Pacquiao, man. This is kind of off topic, but the very first time that that Pacquiao was popping off in my world is when he was fighting Floyd. And so I was working at Buffalo Wild Wings at the time. And you know how many rounds that fight went. Oh yeah. But I had a guy sit down, and he was like, bring me a Jaeger bomb every round of this fight. He was like, because it's not going to last long. And I was like, okay. So I brought him a Jaeger bomb every round of the fight. And he was toasted by the end of it. He ended up leaving me like $300 cash. He was like,
wow.
Thanks for that. He was like, I didn't think it was going to go this long, but it did.
Yeah. Damn. The alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, I know. He took it like a trooper, though. I was impressed. But
Was he younger? Younger?
no, he's probably maybe about 40 years old at the time. Yeah. Yeah. So he was doing his thing. You know?
I find it interesting that you said that the first martial art that you kind of clung to was jiu-jitsu because, of course, you use almost no jiu-jitsu in your fights.
Oh, yeah. I'll only have 2 submissions on my record. Now, I don't count one, but I count the other. Just because of the level of the opponent. I was like, gimme. All right, cool. Like, short notice guy coming in. Like, this was on the regional scene, like, way back. So I was like, I don't really count that one. I count the other one because the other guy was really damn good too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I count this one. I was like, if I'm counting any one of them, that's the one I'm counting. But yeah, no, I use none. Like I strictly love. Like I love. Again, it goes back to my childhood, man. It goes back to like the fighting, Mortal Kombat, all that stuff. So I was like, there's just something that it infatuated me with just striking. So
it's exciting.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm really biased when it comes to MMA. Like, I appreciate the sport as a whole, but if I'm being honest, what I really want to see is a kickboxing match in 4-ounce gloves. That's what I really want to see.
Yeah, I am pretty much the same, unless it's like a good fight that just happened recently. Corey Sandhagen, Umar Naganga. I don't want to butcher his last name, but Umar and Corey was just such high level MMA. Like even to the point where in the grappling exchanges, there was no stalling. There was no no hold, like just holding just to keep a position. Yeah. It was like, nah, we're chasing. What do they call that?
Crotch snake?
Yeah, so so they were moving. I was like really appreciative of that, just because like man, like that showed all facets of MMA, and it showed it very well. Like other than like these other guys who would just like go for a takedown, hold you down for like 15 minutes, and you're just like it's boring. Nobody wants to see it. You're just standing there in position. It's almost like playing football, and the whole entire time they're just kind of just both sides just running the ball, only gaining like 2-3 yards at a time every single play. I'm pretty sure everybody it's just not so I'm like fuck,
it's like fighting but not fighting. It's like non-fighting. I don't even know what to call it.
And there's like even then there's like you can like I can understand like the dominance of it, but at the same time it's like, bro, I'm not paying to watch this guy fight.
Right.
Like you're not marketing yourself at all. So I love Ben Askren, like after fighting and all that stuff. I even got like my grandma bought me a book of like Ben Askren's like still need to turn the page over to read it. But
did he write a biography or something?
Yeah. So pretty much like I didn't want to pay to watch him fight. The only time I really wanted to watch him fight was whenever he came over to the UFC, and I was like, oh, there's the question of like, oh, like whenever there's like a little bit of like questions, like, man, can you do that to UFC fighters? Can you do that to this level of competition? And then he fights Robbie Lawler, and I'm like, damn, okay, I guess the guy's pretty tough. And then, unfortunately, ran into Jorge Masvidal, and I was like, "Damn!"
Ran into his knee.
Yeah, and then even then, whenever he fought Damian Maia, I thought that was a pretty exciting. It was like a sloppy stand-up affair, and then finally he takes a shot. And then it just kind of just ran down, and I was like, "Damn, jiu-jitsu!"
Yeah. They're all good skills to have, especially when you're in muddy waters, you know. And so if you have to pull it out, then you can. You know?
Yeah.
What belts are you?
Black belt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
nobody knows. Nobody knows except Israel Adesanya. He asked me like what color belt I was one time, and he's like, I was like, yeah, I'm a black belt. He's like, wait, no fucking way. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't use it. He's like, but I don't like to call myself a black belt because I don't put the gi on. Like I've as soon as I got my black belt, my gi came completely off, and I stored it away, and I have yet to put it back on. I'm like like I'm doing MMA. Like this is what I'm like. I'll focus on it after I'm done, but as of right now, like I don't see the need for me to put it on for MMA reasons, because like I'm consistently like, of course, a lot of other people use it to tighten up the game, but I'm just like, well, it's like what's gonna get me better at fighting, you know, and that's like positional work, a lot of drilling, a lot of like grappling for MMA. Like, of course, like why am I gonna go over here and try to do this spider guard and like I don't have no like sleeve lapel grips. I can't I can't loop choke you in fucking MMA. So big reason it came off.
Yeah. Man, I'll put mine on and that thing is brutal, man. When you're getting choked out with that.
Oh yeah.
That's my only experience right now is getting choked out. I'm not doing the choking, but it's definitely a skill, man. I'm trying to get Barry in there now. But
I've done a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but it's not. I appreciate the art and I respect everybody that does it, and I had the same experience as you did, where I'm just getting choked out. But it's not as fun as punching somebody in the head. I don't know. Kicking somebody. I don't know. It's just not as fun for me.
I'm a bigger guy, so I think I'm a little bit on the opposite side. I'll roll around, but man, it's crazy when you're up against somebody that's used to striking, and their movements are just so fast. You know, like, I mean, I guess it's part of getting in the groove and being able to read like movements and body language. But man, even yesterday when we were sparring, I was sparring against this little guy, man, and his legs were just cracking me, dude. And I knew that they were coming. I just really couldn't stop it because he was doing some combos up top and then laying a low kick. Man, it was rough. But like I said, it's a complicated sport, and that's why, I take my hat off to anybody that does it, because it's one of those things. But, I guess moving from that, you've been able to kind of progress over time and, you starting off at 15, like we talked about. And I just watched a video of you recently. You were like, man, I used to come to the Rockets games when I was young and now here I am, so.
Oh yeah. To be fair, I only went to like maybe 1 or 2 games, just because like, again, like father, hardworking dad, 12 hours. Like, man, there was just a lot of rough times in between there as well too, like from bouncing from job to job too. So I appreciated that moment. Like, cause I was like, man, I remember being at this game, like sitting up at those like nosebleeds and all that stuff. So like it brought a little bit more appreciation whenever I was like, really kind of set it in. And I was like, damn, I remember being up there. Then I got to sit courtside. And I was like, damn, man, this is like crazy. Cause I never would have thought, like, I never would have thought. And that right there was just like, it put it into perspective for me, like in that moment. And I was just like, fuck, dude, this is wild. This is wild for me.
Yeah.
Like I always saw myself just like as an average person, and I still think I am. Like, I'm just like, nah, if you were to see me on the street, like, hey, what's up, bro? Like, yeah, that, like, I don't put myself up there, like, trying to think like I'm like somebody they're not, So I was like, yeah, no, I'm still Adrian Yanez at the end of the day, and I still see like the opportunities. I still see a lot of this stuff. Like, man, this is so fucking cool. Like being right here, this is so fucking cool to me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, this is pretty fucking dope.
Well, I'm glad
Same.
to hear. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's crazy. The journey that life has, you never know where you're going to end up. You start one path, and each decision leads on to another outcome, and they start adding up, and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, whoa, like here we are, and I'm from a small little town, China, Texas. You probably never heard of it. It's probably about an hour outside of Houston. And everybody there, they work at all the like mobile plants and like things around the area, maybe a couple hospitals. And I was like, man, I got to move to Houston, And so just that decision to come here has opened up so many doors and even some wrong doors, but I guess you got to figure out what works and what doesn't work to figure out what works for you,
Oh yeah. Shoot, so. I know for me, like it took a lot of like just saying fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That like that's where like I knew a lot of times where I was like I think after my last regional loss, I was like, man, like I knew how close I was. I didn't like there's one time before that I didn't know how close I was to getting to where I'm at today. It's like I didn't know, like, I was just like, fuck, I got down on myself, but I came back and I got on a win streak, got myself into a title shot, lost it by very narrow, like the 2 losses that I had, like I had 3 losses on the regional scene, but the first one was early on. The next two were very, very close fights, like split decisions. And pretty much it was almost like a coin flip, which I think I won those coin flips. But
MMA judging is weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. Yeah. But after those fights, like I was like, nah, like I'm like, fuck it, I'm going for it. And I did. And then that one with the title fight where I lost, it was like, fuck. I was like, because that guy had next season, he got on the Contenders, got his contract. And same thing with the guy that I fought before too. Like the guy who I had lost to before, he got a contract. Like he got a shot in the Contenders, got a contract. And I was like sitting back, I was like, I can't, like, what the fuck, man? What's going on over here? Like, like I know I'm good enough. Like I know, like I beat those guys. Like what the fuck? Like I need to go out there and like do something different. And it was just, for me, I think it was more likely that like I just had this mental block of like, nah, like I kind of was letting other people get in my head. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, I knew immediately. I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm going for it. Like fuck it. Like I'm gonna be mad if I don't chase after it now. Like so, I was like, if I go down 20 years from now and I'm just looking back, I'm like, I'm gonna be pissed off. So I was like, nah, I'm going for it. And a lot of those times, the decisions really kind of fucked with my personal life a lot, you know, because I was waking up to go to work. I was waking up a couple hours before I go to work to go work out, go to work, and then after work go straight to train, then go home and sleep.
What were you doing for work at the time?
So I was working for the city of Deer Park, right whenever I was that close for like the title fight. Like right after that, I was like, I was working for the city of Deer Park, and I was the guy that everybody hated. It was the motherfucker that always came around when you didn't pay your water bill, shutting your water off. I was that guy. So, coworkers, everybody, like like my coworkers and everybody, fucking fantastic, great people, great boss, man. He like a great man, like just overall, like he gave me some kind words after my fight and was just like, well, like, get after it, like, bro. It's like, you really want to go for it. So he's like one of the only few people that would tell me to do that, you know. So that was really cool. So but yeah, after that fight, I just ended up waking up at 5 a.m., going to go work out, go to work. And then this is like right there at 2018. I think it was like 2018. Trying to remember the timelines. And so I had 2 more fights. I fought, I think Michael Rodriguez, and then I had a comeback fight in 2019. Then I fought another guy in the summer, and then I was on my way to fighting this other guy for LFA main event, and that guy ended up not making weight. So I ended up introducing LFA to UFC Fight Pass, like in main eventing that the very first UFC Fight Pass for LFA and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that win right there, which was a very close fight, against a really tough opponent in Kyle Estrada. Man, that guy is fucking tough, and he could take a shot. But like, grinded that one out and got me into the Contenders that following year. And you know, it's like, shit. Like, I'm glad that I had like a good ear in my head, being like, hey man, go for it, you know, because at that time, like the only 2 adult male figures that I had to talk to were my coach and, again, my boss, you know. And luckily for me, like they were great people, you know. So if I had anybody else, it would have been like, shit.
It's crazy who you run into in life that kind of helps direct you in a certain path, man. I think we all have a couple of those people, and man, it's very important. Good people are good to have around, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
That Contender performance was amazing. That was the first time that I saw you. I was sitting at home because I love Dana White's Contender series. That's my Tuesday night when it's on. And I remember seeing you get that knockout in 39 seconds. I was like, this guy's going to be a star. I knew it immediately. Yeah, such a slick style. You just slip the right hand, the overhand and the hook, knocked him out. It's such a beautiful performance. I remember afterwards as well, I saw you were basically asking Dana White, please help me quit my day job. Please help me quit my day job.
It was a funny conversation coming back to work that
So you don't want to be with us?
You know, it was funny because he was just like, my boss was like, he was talking to somebody, and then he comes back, he's like, so you want to leave us, huh? I was like, so you want to leave us? I was just gloating about you to the bosses. So I was like, damn it.
What was that like, that experience, like fighting in front of no crowd?
That one was wild just because we were in the, like, that was like the midst of like straight, like nobody. It's
2020, correct?
Yeah, 2020. I remember having a fight lined up in March, and the day of, so it was March 13th, the day of that fight, it ended up getting canceled. So just like everything shut down. The rodeo shut down, and we're trying to do our best to keep it alive. Like Eric Garcia at Fury was doing he's like even telling people, if you can't go to the rodeo, like, because we were fighting in front of the rodeo at the Bayou Night Center or something like that, right across the NRG. So he's like, hey, if you have tickets, man, you get a discount on tickets. We're trying to do the most to try to really sell it out. But like a couple hours before the fight, man, they give us a call and be like, hey, like, there's like, they're calling it. I was like, fuck. So like I ended up having to meet up with over 100 people to give back their tickets, you know, and it was just a wild time. And then that's whenever I found out I got my contender shot. I was like, oh damn, wait, like, so you're telling me like you gave me the bad news, but this is great news. So you know what? I was having a great time handing off tickets.
That is great news.
Yeah. But
how long did you have to prepare for the fight?
From pretty much from March all the way until then. But at the same time, like, we had to do a lot, because once that happened, there was like a roller coaster effect of everything else that happened, like with everything shutting down. So my coach, pretty much, he was like, he saw everything kind of written on a wall and was like, hey guys, it's going to be a tough one. He shut the gym down and pretty much refunded all, like, everybody who was signed up, like, refund that whole entire month. And pretty much him and us fighters that he had pretty much just like put everything in a trailer, everything, put it in a storage unit. And then he found like, Renee was an assistant coach. I was also an assistant coach, but Renee was there a lot more than I was because I had to work. But he got in contact with the guy that runs a t-shirt company and was like, hey bro, like, we need a spot. Do you have extra space? And pretty much found a spot to train in the back of a t-shirt company. So we ended up taking a whole bunch of like mats and just training there all the way up until the contenders. Actually, no, like maybe like we moved in. So from March all the way to July, like mid-July, we had we were training at the back of a like t-shirt company, and then that's when we moved into the location we're at now at O Athletic.
Wow, that's nuts. And you're talking about the place right here off of Shepherd Drive, right?
Yeah, right down the road. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And I actually stepped in there one time, but I was like super intimidated. I was like, I need to fucking leave.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot going on at that gym. Like, man, like when we first walked in, we were just like, I was sitting back because I'm just like, I was so used to training
the back of a t-shirt company.
Exactly. Yeah. So same thing. Like, it was a warehouse that we were training at before. Hot summers, cold winters, made cutting weight super easy. But
it sounds like heritage Muay Thai.
Yeah. So that's exactly how it like it
like
was.
A shipping container.
So yeah, pretty much. And it was like right there off of 45 and Scott. Like, it's now the place called, I think it's called like Triumph now, but it's right next to like an old Carpet Giant auto parts place, and it's that's where we trained at for most of the time, right there in 3rd Ward.
Wow. Yeah, and you walk into this place, they're like,
we're just sitting back, and I was like, we walk in and we're like, wait, I can order a fucking smoothie here? Wait, are you telling me I can get an espresso shot in my coffee right now? Are you kidding me? Like, walking in, I was like, we have showers? Holy, like, man, it was just walking into a whole new world, and we're just sitting back like, we don't deserve this. we're filthy animals, you know? And but luckily for us, man, it was all like, They let us in, which I'm very grateful, and which we're still there, which I'm very grateful for too, man. Like that gym has just been like a blessing, blessing to us, like despite without like how like commercial it looks and everything, like with everything that had happened during that time and everything that happened with everything with my coach, like we're still there training, like, very great people. So like, man, I give it up to those guys over there. I'm really grateful for them. It might not show it because I'm a very quiet guy who just likes to be in the corner a lot of the times, but like for me, I really appreciate them for what they did.
Wow. I know the first time I moved to Houston, I was coming from like a kind of a CrossFit style gym, kind of like a container pretty much. And I got over here and somebody taught me into, they were like, oh, you need to, go to this weight gym. They're doing a discount right now. And I was like, okay. I went, I got a membership. I liked it there and everything. And I went to the restroom and they had like Q-tips by the sink. And I was like, they provide Q-tips for you. Like, this is crazy.
They got shaving cream and razors for you and everything.
Yes,
man.
exactly. I was like, man, this is wild.
Oh man, I have a great time, man. Like so even there, like I know guys who will go to Heritage Muay Thai and then all of a sudden be like, I'm gonna go right down the road. I'm gonna go to O Athletic and take a shower. So,
oh my god, that's hilarious.
Because they have everything there. So hey.
Well, what about this? What about all these different things that you're involved in? I see you representing Dialed Moods often.
Oh yeah, Dialed Moods, man. They're an energy drink, man. Dialed Moods. They got.
And you didn't bring us none.
I didn't bring it. Yeah, no. I asked them for another care package because man, I ran through it. But they had this mango flavored one. Off the top of my head,
I love mango. Mango ginger is like the
that mango drink was just amazing, man. I had two samples, so they sent me like a whole nice box. It was like nice looking. So nice. I opened it up and I got the mango one. The other one that I really liked was the blue raspberry one. But yeah, their energy drinks, bro, it's some of the best. Some of the best. They got kratom in there. They got like 150 milligrams of caffeine, which I need, especially those morning sparring sessions, man. I rely on those things before I go spar because we spar like on Wednesdays we spar in the morning like at 10:30. So I'm just like I'm still waking up, bro. I need a little bit of a pick me up.
I was just about to ask you your schedule. I mean, is it set per day or like is it weekly?
No, it's pretty much already set just because of like stuff that we have. Like we don't have like a consistent like people who can do it like 2 times a day or 3 times a day and all that stuff. Like we have like an everyday like people who go to work and still want to come train with us as well too. So like the night sessions are very like, hey, this is what we're doing. We got these planned out, and a lot of times like a lot of times at the night sessions, it just depends on who comes in, who was able to get off of work in time and not beat this Houston traffic and all that stuff.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, but the mornings are a little bit more relaxed because like again, it's like training at 10, then training at like 10:30 over here in Houston, like taking this drive to the Heights, man. During the day, man, it's wonderful. I love it, man. 30 to 40 minutes of driving nonstop. I love it. But as soon as it turns to the night session, bro, I hate it, man.
From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., you better just put on some music and
see,
like, podcast time.
Yes.
So
meditate.
So the hardest part of my training and like showing up to the gym was around the time I was training for Contenders, and because I also had a job. We got off at 5. 5:30 at times because they switched up schedules a little bit. Training over here started at 6.
So you're trying to book it.
Oh man, I broke so many laws. I broke so many laws trying to get there, man. I was wrapping my hands in traffic. I'm sitting there just like I got to get there, and sometimes I'd show up like 5 minutes before some of these guys, man, and I'm just sitting back like, bro, some of y'all don't work, like, exactly, and y'all are running late and like taking your time to get ready. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, bro, what? And my coach would see that, and he'd notice it and be like, it's like, this guy just got off of work 30 fucking minutes ago. He looked and be like, I don't know how the fuck he made it here. So I was like, yeah. But yeah.
Plead the fifth.
By any means necessary, though,
yeah.
by any means necessary.
Oh, 100%. There was times where we had like a 6 a.m. training session over here at the Heights. So a lot of times, like during those mornings, I would go to the 6 a.m. Training session and come to work just to get off and go right straight back,
Wow.
So and luckily for me, like around that time, I was in my apartment. Like I was in an apartment, and it was like right, like where I worked was just literally just like a skip and a hop for me. It was like 5 minutes. So sometimes on lunch break, I'd go home, get the change of clothes, and like be able to come back, still eat my lunch, and be able to take off like once time went. But it got a little bit harder once I figured out I had the contender shot, and I was telling my girl, I was like, hey, look, like I know you're not gonna like this, but I think it's best if we move back in with my mom. It's like I'm telling you, like I really do think we got to make the sacrifice, because I really do believe in myself. And she was like, yeah, cool, move back to mom. It was fucking hard, like going to having your own freedom, doing all that stuff, and then being a 25-year-old, being like, well, 25, 26 years old, and being like, all right, well, I got to move back with my mom. All the freedom that I had, gone. Yep. So
she's a ride or die for her.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
And took off, and then I was like, hey, within a year, I'm getting us a house. Within a year after me getting the contract, got us a house. I was like, man, all right, it's like cool. So I that's stuff that I can look back and be like, man, dude, I made that fucking happen. I was like, I told her too, and I got in one. I was like, fuck yeah. But my credit was shit, so that's why I took a little bit longer.
Yeah. I need to start working on my credit there. Well, the bad thing is, man, I went to school and I racked up all these student loans, and now I'm stuck freaking paying them, which is a pain in the butt.
I know, right? Fucking student loans.
I know, yeah, and it's so expensive too. It's like, like who's actually going to pay $60,000 for some schooling? They're like, oh, pay it later. It's no big deal. And then you're stuck.
And you're like 18, 19. You're like, sure, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Everybody else is doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting back and be like, I never went to school. I just see everybody with student loans, and I'm just sitting back like, damn, man.
It's like a scam.
But then, but at the same time, I'm just like, like I kind of wish I went to school, but my parents gave me the opportunity to be like, hey, do you want to go to school? And I was like, do you want to we'll pay for your college and all that stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, we paid for your brother's college. I was like, your brother's college, do you want to go? Like, I was like, but in my head, I was like, it's like, bro, he went to Stan Jack. He went to community college. It's like, that's way cheaper than.
That shit still costs.
I was sitting back. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about that. I don't want to go to college. I already know what I want to do. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I just want to teach. I knew what I wanted immediately. Like, it's either I wanted to fight or just teach. Fight or teach martial arts. And that was I already had it dead set in my head. That's what I was going to be doing. Like, I knew that from early on. There was other people that would try to be like, no, you shouldn't do that. And I was like, fuck you. Now I'm just sitting back like, it's a really
fuck
big
you and your parlay.
yeah, bro, 100%.
I saw that. What is that about?
So I would always consistently get messages after I fought Font. I remember going into my messages be like, guys would just be trashing me in my DMs. They'd be like, oh fuck, some of you guys would be like, you know what, I deserve that one a little bit. But then there'd be guys that'd be like, I put $5 down, you owe me $5 fucking bucks. It's like, hey, I put $500 on this parlay, and you fucking took me out. I was like, bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. I was like, I don't care. I was like, if you bet on me, bro, I put bets down before, and I'm just like, bro, I knew what I was getting myself into. I was like, I'm probably gonna lose this money, So, but it makes it more interesting. So, When a couple guys be like, like you fucked up my parlays. I don't give a fuck about your parlay, bro. You think I give a like I'm fighting for fucking like for half my paycheck, So like, man, 100%. I don't want just one paycheck. I want two, man, possibly three if I can get one. But yeah, that's where that came from, because most of those guys would be hurt, man. There's some of these people would just be like, it's like, man, I fucking believed in you. I did this, and they'd like send me heartfelt messages. Be like, man, and I'd be like, man. And there was a couple people that would send their Cash App or their Venmo and be like, you mail it here, buddy. And I'm like,
damn. Did you ever send anything like just for fun, like $5, like fuck you and your parlay?
No. I'll probably do that the next one. But,
like just the finger emoji,
No. But yeah, no, that one popped up out of nowhere, because like even in the comment section, people would be like, "Man, you fucked up my parlay last time." I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck. Like,
I saw you made T-shirts. I was like, I fucking need one of those. So how do you bypass all the hate? And I mean, because at this day and age we're in, everybody seems to have an opinion, and they always want to voice it or whatever. So how do you bypass that?
Man, a lot of times it just depends on what type of mood I'm in. Like, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, man, I don't give a fuck, delete or block. Like, I used to hit the block button religiously. Now I'm just like, you know what, man? I'm just gonna I'm gonna drag this out. I'm gonna drag this one out a little bit.
Let's keep them close.
And there's a couple of people who I'll just be friendly to, like just being like, oh, they're just killing with kindness, So some people I'll do that too. Some people I'll be like, all right, bro, what the fuck you done, bro? What have you done? And some people I'll be like, damn, bro, it sucks to suck, right? And there's a lot of times I just ignore it. But it just depends. Again, it just really depends on the mood I'm in. Like I am not like my training partners. My training partner, like I have two training partners that I feel like are better at that than me. Because my training partner, Rafian Stotts, man, he I think he was fighting Magomedov, and this guy was talking shit to him, and it was in Russian. So like he Google translated it, and then he saw what he said, and then he was like, nah, I'm doubling down. He fucking started talking shit to him back. Like he had it in Google Translate and sent it to him. He was going in on him, and then my training partner, Cameron, I remember this being, it was just so funny. This guy was DMing him and just like talking mad shit, and he just kept going back and forth to the guy. He was just like, yeah, you're still a bitch. He's like, I'm 6'2". He's like, well, you're a 6'2", bitch. He kept going in, and finally it finally came out to be like, yeah, I'm only 15 years old. He's like, you would want to beat up a 15-year-old? I was like, yeah, because he's a bitch. I don't know. I found that like really like, I was finding it entertaining, but I was sitting next to him while he was talking to me about it. I'm just like, I find this very entertaining. You go through that, man. That's hilarious. That.
I know. I saw a couple weeks ago. I think it was at the last UFC. Where Marab was getting heckled from the fans, and he like climbs over the fence, and he's like, But you see, they're like, oh shit, Like,
oh yeah, 100%. Most of those guys that like talk shit don't really think that anything's gonna come back at them. But yeah, luckily for me, I never had anybody that would say it like while I'm around. The only time I've heard anything was when I was going out to fight Tony Kelly in Austin, and there was that one fucking guy that I don't know why. I don't know why I heard him. Because he was kind of further away, but whenever I heard him, it sounded like he was next to me. And I just remember just flicking somebody off. And looking back, I was like, damn, I just flicked off this poor lady. I was like, damn it. I was like, she was so flabbergasted that the fact that like I'm sitting there, I just go, I just kept it moving, and like in the video, you can kind of be like, I was like, oh damn, I feel bad. Like I feel bad for that one, but yeah.
That's how you ended the fight as well. You're flipping him off.
Oh yeah,
what was that?
Well, yeah,
was that the same thing?
Well, he was talking mad shit. And I think I know why he got mad. Because every interviewer was asking me like about his comments towards Brazil and Brazilians, because his girl was fighting his girl was fighting a Brazilian woman, and in the corner he goes, yeah, like these Brazilian, the dirty, like that dirty Brazilian. Just started saying something along the lines of dirty Brazilian, and like, or dirty Brazilian fighter, something like that along those lines. And I just remember, because I had just signed a fight a week before he went to go corner, we just signed for the fight, and out of nowhere my phone starts blowing up, and I'm just getting a whole bunch of like, oh shit, like why am I, like, what's going on? Because I wasn't watching the fights. I was just sitting back and I was like looking, I see my phone blow up. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, why is Gilbert Burns mentioning me? Why is, like, where are all these fighters like mentioning me? What did I do? I look and I was like, oh, that's what happened. I'm just sitting back like, ugh. I was like, that's not a good look. I was like, fuck. Yeah. And then people just started asking me in interviews, like, what did I think? I was like, well, it's a dumbass comment. I was like, but here's the part where I'd give them grace. I'd be like, hey, like I don't know how I would react if I was cornering my significant other in a fight. Like, I don't know, like, because again, he was cornering his girlfriend and all that stuff. So I'm just like, I was like, man, like, you're in that moment and you don't want to see your significant other get punched in the face. Like, bro, like I don't know how to react. Like, I'm already tense as it is whenever I see my training partners fight. Like, I used to do this thing where I just chew a bunch of gum. Like, they would make fun of me because I'd have a big clump of gum right in the, like, on the side of my cheek. And I was just like, God damn it, like, just chewing gum. But now I switched to the mints, so they can't tell as much. Nice. But yeah, no, like, I'd be a nervous wreck. So I was giving him grace, but he never looked at interviews. He only saw the clickbait stuff. And I was like, right, yeah. So, and then it doubled down. And then by the time fight time came around, they were keeping us separated. I was like, okay. I was like, I would have thought I would have saw him by now, but then next come to find out, like, I saw an interview they did, and he started calling me Wish Masvidal and shit. I'm like, oh, that's fucking crazy. And he starts talking mad shit, and I'm just like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. Fight week comes, misses weight. He starts talking shit, like, and I'm like, I remember being there because it was in Austin, Texas. My family was there, saw my son where he was at, and I'm sitting there having the time of life on the scale, looking at my family. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then I was just heard him just chapping. I was like, bro, motherfucker, like, oh god, I'm about to fuck you up, bro. I'm about to fuck you up. And then, like, he was like talking shit to me and all that stuff, and I was like, and this is where I thought it was hilarious. I was like, hey, bro, next time make weight. And he just turned from talking shit to be like, man, I'm sorry, man, I really tried. And I'm like, bro, this guy's a fucking wacko. Yeah, like, what the fuck? At least keep the same energy. But then, but a lot of people saw how we got really confrontational at the weigh-ins, but we ended up we still needed to be separated at the back, like in the back. Like, once we went past the curtains, we just kept talking shit to each other. And then the higher ups of the UFC were telling me, like, hey, you get to fight him tomorrow. And then he was like, he wants to come and shake your hand. But then he came trying to shake my hand, but started talking shit again. I'm like, fuck. but yeah, it just ended up being this whole thing. And during the fight, like, I remember before he walked out, like, they put him in front of the curtain, and I'm behind waiting for him to go. And I just see him start flicking everybody off, and it just put me in another mood. And like, during the fight, in the middle of the fight, he starts trying to talk to me while I'm punched him, and he just starts, he's like, it was weird. It was weird. But he started trying to talk shit in the middle of the fight, and I just ended up, like, getting to him. And then once I walloped him, I was like, all right, bitch. I was like, all right, bitch. And then I got him. And yeah, there was just a lot of emotion there.
Wow. Is that common back there? With, like, when you get paired up with an opponent, is it like kind of automatic, like, okay, like, let's kind of make this tense? Or
no, not really. Like whenever I was fighting Jonathan Martinez, like, man, I really liked him. Like, he's really good, solid dude. Like, we got cool with each other during International Fight Week. And, we're just like we both had the same impression of, like, yeah, man, if they put us up against each other, we don't want to fight. right. And then, like, even his coach, one of his coaches came up to me, because I was cornering a Fury event for one of my guys, and his coach came up to me. We started talking, having a good time and all that stuff. And then he's like, it's like, I told Jonathan this. I was like, what? He's like, you said that you don't want to fight him, you like him and all that stuff. He's like, you know what they're gonna do, right? And I was like, what? He's like, they're gonna put y'all against each other. This is what they do. I was sitting back and like, it's like, yeah, no, me and Bo Jonathan were just like, yeah, we don't want to really fight each other, and we ended up fighting each other. But yeah, before the fight, we're cutting weight in the same room together and all that stuff. I'm cracking jokes, being like, hey, bro, like, we're in the sauna. I'm like, bro, dude, we can stop this right now. We don't need to cut anymore. We can stop this right now and agree. We have the same manager. Let's call him right now and just say, fuck it. We're doing 40. We're doing 140. And like I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. We can do this, man. Just tell him to stop, man. We can stop. We don't need to kill ourselves anymore while we're sitting there cutting weight.
Does that affect performance if you're fighting a friend?
Not for me. Not for me. No, it doesn't affect it at all. But I do notice I have a little bit more of like an itch if I don't like the guy. But
that energy comes out.
But even then, like, there's like no, like, again, it's still like, I still like, there's a lot of guys who I liked fighting before and then still liked after. Jonathan's still one of those guys. Like, man, I like after the fight, he was actually one of the people that kept on checking up on me and shit. And I was like, hey, bro, like, you check on me more than my own family does. I'm like, fuck it. Like, yeah, you're cool. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, that's a good person.
So so I talked to him a bit, and then this past international fight week got real cool with him and all that stuff, so cool dude, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, if his name was on the contract, that's who we got to fight. But
right, yeah, that's the job,
yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't think I'd fight Jonathan again, just because, like, I'm like, hey, like I actually like want to go train with him a little bit more, and I want him to come down here to Houston as well too, to train with us as well too, because we got a lot of good guys he'd be able to get some good work in with too. So
right, how important is that collaboration?
Sometimes
like
you just
amongst fighters in general.
I think a lot of times you just got to be able to kind of go with a lot more high level people, because there's a lot of times where, like,
yeah, because there's only a select few.
Yeah,
you cats out there.
Like, there's not too many high level fighters here in Houston. A lot of people will say there is, but once they start, sometimes when they bring people from out of town, you kind of get like, oh shit, like as soon as they start bringing people in from out of town, like, they bring the best guys. It's like sometimes you just kind of figure out that you're not that guy. So. But you can still work to get to that level. There's just the competition level here isn't that deep just yet. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we're on that path. Like, Houston collectively is on that path. Like now we're starting to get like a lot of these fighters, from before, like I grew up watching like a lot of these guys, like Jeff Ruxroad, like Alex Morano. He's in the UFC right now. Alex Morano is like, I watched him in LFA. Before it was LFA, it was Legacy. Watching guys like that, Tim Snyder, a lot of these other guys. There's another couple good ones that I'm completely missing on.
Who's that? What's the big guy that's like, my balls are sweaty?
Derek Lewis. Yeah, so
he's
yeah,
out of Houston too.
He was fighting for Legacy at that point too. But there was like a lot of fighters in that era. Whenever he was fighting on the regional scene, they're now turning into coaches, and those guys are really really good, like really solid. So like my striking coach at Heritage, like Michael Chase Corley. He was a fighter at once, but now he's teaching, he's coaching fighters and all that stuff. And now, like, my own corner, Eve Edwards, like, he was a former fighter that fought at the highest levels,
legend,
coaching. So like, now we're starting to get like Houston to have all the like the really good guys and all that stuff. So it's slowly building, but it's not like now we do not have the deepest of high levels right now. Like, we're still working towards it, but. Again, that just still like
takes some time.
It's gonna take time, but
are you set on sticking in Houston, or is it like what you're gonna build into? Or
I've floated the idea of like kind of seeing where there is, like, I do want to go to Mexico. And train with Pancho. He's Alexa Grasso's uncle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's very smart. He's very intelligent. I like the way they train, and like he has a system and he changes up his system a lot, and I like the way they do things. So like I would like to go to Mexico to go train with him just because of his mind and all that stuff, So
does Yair train there?
No, it's Brian Ortega.
Oh, gotcha.
Not Brian Ortega. Diego Lopez, but the only reason why I said Brian Ortega is because of the
he's gonna be fighting.
That's who he's gonna be fighting. So I was like, yeah, but I love the way they train. Like I love the way like they set up. I love their mentality towards it. Like they train almost every day, and whenever I went out there to go train with them for 2 weeks, man, it was just like consistent like training. Some days would be a little bit like less strenuous, just because like how the body feels at times, but. Like, yeah, it was a consistent, like, everybody's learning at once. They even film study together at times, So, like, I really appreciated how, like, they went about things. So, that's what I want to put myself around with. But if I'm sticking here in Houston, I got the guys. Like, I already have the people that I need for me here. But there's always, like, you always kind of need to get a different look as well, too,
Right, yeah. See, man, I love a little bit of adversity, I guess. I like to switch up the scenes often, and like, that's why I kind of started this thing to talk to different people and to kind of see the like everybody else's ideas on life and things like that. And so, man, I think going to Mexico, at least for for a little while, would be awesome. Do you speak Spanish?
Not fluently. I'm I am what they call a no sabo kid. I can speak. I can speak. I can get around with like going to restaurants, ordering, and having like a little conversation with people. But like once if they're from the motherland, bro, like it's hard to catch up because they speak a little bit more fast.
Yeah, it's so fluent.
Yeah, so fluent. God, and I'm just sitting back and like
my grandmother, she's from Monterrey, and they tried to teach me growing up, and I grew up. I mean, my town. I grew up. I mean, everybody wore camo and boots, and so I was like, nah, I'm not gonna learn Spanish, And now, in here in Houston, it's such an important language. I mean, I mean, everybody that I know here is speaking Spanish. Hey, Larry, get down. What are you doing?
Yeah,
lettuce. Dude, he'll tear into my plants. I mean, the reason I don't have very many plants is because he took them out already.
Oh, damn.
Survival of the fittest. We have 2 left.
Shoot. Well, I know for me on the Spanish portion is that like my mom, like she's straight from Mexico, so pretty much like she came over, and when she got with my dad, like she started going to school to speak English, and pretty much growing up, it was just more like, hey, like. We got to help your mom. Like I knew Spanish growing up, but like I definitely knew more Spanish back then than I do now. It was like a lot more easier for me back then, but like we kind of got away from it because like my mom was learning English, and so we kind of had to start putting stuff around, just making sure that it was like we got to talk to her in English. Everything we talk to her is like English, so we can help her out and speak better English. So I feel like we did a really good job because my mom's pretty fluent. Mom's pretty fluent. But yeah, that's the story. Like that's pretty much the story. Like my mom, like my dad wanted my mom to not be like feel left out, like when she's talking to other people, and also too for job wise. My dad was like, nah, I'm putting you in school. You're gonna learn English. Like just so like if she was ever in a situation where she like could only talk Spanish, she was
be
not
there to help.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah, well, and I guess this is I'm jumping topics these days, but what about your mental health, man? Like, how do you stay sharp and healthy? I mean, are you incorporating a lot in like diet, and I know obviously exercise and diet, but I mean, is that all you're doing to kind of keep a stable mind?
Man, like that is a really good question, and I still work on it. I still work on it. I have a hard time expressing myself or just like kind of having a venting systems. But like for me, like just like 30 to 40 minutes on a game for me would just help me kind of relax.
Nice. What game? What game are you talking about?
So I've been playing a lot. I'm still in this process where I'm trying to figure out which game I'm trying to set on because I played WWE 2K24. And I went through a story mode, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm done with that story mode. All right, cool. Well, let me find something else I can start playing. So right now I'm in Assassin's Creed Origins, but I'm just not really liking the gameplay. I think
Black Ops 6 comes out soon.
Yeah, my brother's telling me to get on it. So like I'm thinking about it. So I'm very like, you know, like, because I don't have the normal like schedule that a normal person would have. So most of the people who I'd be playing with are getting off by the time I get home. Right. So by the time I get home, it's like, damn it, like I just missed it. All right, cool, whatever. I got to play by myself. So, like I just had to delete Warzone because it takes so much space. Like,
it does take a lot of space.
Oh my gosh, man! Like I remember doing the update. Like I was in the middle of doing the update. I just uninstalled it just because it told me it was gonna be 3 hours, and I left for an hour, and I came back and it says 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I just remember texting the people that I play with and being like, "Fuck this game! I'm deleting it. I'm finding something else to play."
I think honestly, I think Black Ops 6 should be pretty good. I mean, I think they made some adjustments on the gameplay, and I think you could actually like run up behind an opponent and like hold them and like start shooting.
TikTok's been going crazy with that. Saying that the one that I saw that was pretty hilarious is like after he grabbed him, he's like, "Welcome to the Diddy party."
And the guy's like, "Oh no."
So yeah, pretty much that's where my mental health goes. Like, man, just like, you know, I'll be playing the games, but also too, man, just kind of just sticking around my family. It's just like that helps me out a lot.
Having like a nice base.
Yeah, just going home, man. Like, I travel a good amount, so like I get some time away from the family, and I'm just like, I miss it. I miss them every single time. I'm just like, you know. So for me, you know, just being able to have a little bit of time with them, you know, makes it better for me. They also give me stress too. But no, it's a give and take, man. I love them, man. So,
So you have one son right now.
One son,
and then you have one on the way.
Yeah, one on the way.
Oh man,
one on the way. Yeah.
Barry actually has one on the way.
A girl. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy because like whenever they told us, they're telling me, they told us the due date. And we like both me and the mother of my child were just like looked at each other kind of crazy, and everybody's like, "What? Like, is that a bad date?" Or like, "Nah, it's a great date." Like, it just happened to be the day that my dad was born too, so it was my dad's birthday. Yeah, I'm just sitting back like, damn, this is weird. I was like, damn, weird signs, man. Weird signs.
Yeah, but it's special though too. I mean, when I was born, I have two older brothers, and when they were born, they were like, you know, my oldest brother they were like, you know, what should his middle name be? And they were like, oh, my dad was like, he's gonna have my middle name or my name, you know, Curtis. Yeah. And so it was Joey Curtis. So that was the first one. The second one pops out, and they're like, what's his middle name gonna be? And he's like, let's do Curtis. And so, you know, years later, then I show up, and they're like, well, it's just got to be Curtis now, you know? So we all have the same middle name.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, all same middle name and all born in July.
Oh, damn.
I know.
That's wild.
I know. I'm like, man, what were y'all doing? Yeah.
Do you think being a father has changed you as a fighter in any way?
It's definitely. I don't know if it's changed me as a fighter, but I can definitely feel that I have changed a lot. I am definitely more concerned with a lot more things, and I definitely, like, best way to put it, like whenever I start seeing like a movie or something and it has to do with a kid or like a dad or something like that, like I turn into a little bitch. that's the best way to put it. Like I remember watching a video or watching a movie, and it's just like father and dad, and I just remember just being there, just like
I'm not crying.
Yeah. I just actively tell myself like. I remember my girl was just looking at me. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I can't be a bitch right now. That's what I can't be. I can't." I was like, "Fuck." I was like, man. But yeah, no, like there's a lot more moments where I'm just sitting there like, man, that's so cool. Like, and then I catch myself like having those moments with my son. I'm just like, oh man, this is so fucking cool. Like I sit back and I was like, man, man, we're watching WrestleMania. Like, and my son, like we had the recliner were right there, dead propped in front of the TV watching WrestleMania, and he's sitting there just watching it with me, wanting to do the moves that they do and all that stuff, and like I'm sitting there having a blast, you know, and he didn't want to go to sleep that night. He was like, nah, like we're gonna keep on going, but he was so tired. But just having that moment, I was like, man, it made me think about the time that like my dad bought the WrestleMania bought WrestleMania the pay-per-view because I wanted to watch it. My son was. I was like, ah, damn it!
Wow, history repeats itself.
I'm sitting back. I'm just like, I can't be a bitch right now. I can't. So I was like, breathe, bro, breathe. But yeah.
Oh man, that's powerful though to have that connection. How old is your son?
2.5.
Wow,
Yeah,
and
so-
he's already getting started,
bro.
man. He's already the seed is already planted. He's gonna grow up to be a bad motherfucker
Oh
too.
man, I'm like, man, please don't do it. Just because I know, I'm also like kind of like, it's like, I know, like how I would like if he would step in, like want to do it. I know how I would train him. But if he stepped in and told me that he wanted to fight, I had to sit down and have a conversation with him. Be like, hey, look, I just want you to know that, like, if you're gonna train to fight, nobody else is training you but me. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I know what it takes. I know what it takes to get there. It's like there's gonna be certain stuff where I might need to take you somewhere to go do something. But I was like, I know what it takes to get to there. I was like, your grandpa knew. Your grandpa knew. I was like, your grandpa took me to somebody. I was like, but he also kept a watchful eye where he was like, there's a lot of times my dad would show up for the training and he'd be like, I'd already be there. And pretty much my dad would be showing up later, a little bit later, watching us train, making sure I was getting the good work in. So yeah, like it was also like one of those things where we had the connection. So I'd be like, but for me, I'd had to be there. I had to be training my son. I had to be doing it. But again, I really hope he doesn't. I want him to be like, you know what? I want you to be president of the United States, all right? That's my goals for you. I don't want you to get punched in the face. I don't want you. Like, I don't want to wake up and be like, man, I had to cut your stitches out today. It's like, nah.
It seems like most fighters who have children say the same thing. Like, they really do not want their children to be fighters. They're like, they're not going to stop them from doing it if they want to pursue it, but they wouldn't actively encourage it.
I'm even to the point where I'll just be like, I wouldn't want him to play football either. I'm like,
yeah,
and also he's also not gonna get those physical gifts. My whole family, like I'm like one of the taller people on my family, so I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna get that gift of being a 6'2", 235 pounds, unless I need to start talking to your mom. It's like if that happens, but that kid is a spitting image of me. So I'm like, you know what, man. I think you have my genes. You're not going to be that tall, man. I'm sorry.
Well, he's definitely you probably passed on some skill to him. So and some skill and strength, some mental strength. Because I mean, to do what you do, it's not easy. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of passion. So that's why there's not a lot of people like you out there. I mean, it takes a lot of hoops to jump through to get to where you are.
Oh man, I say like I got it, but I got that through my parents because like my mom, again, she came from Mexico where like she knew nothing. Like they literally sent her over. Like my grandparents, like my abuela, they sent her over to go help my uncle with because they were about to have their own kid. So my mom went over there to help them out, and then she thought it was only gonna be like 6 months, and she's going back to Mexico. She a year later, meeting my dad. So like she had a hard life growing up, and then coming to the United States where she knew nothing, and like left everything back home, and just like so having to see my mom work like 2 to 3 jobs at a time, then my dad with his background being in the being a boxer, getting to Golden Gloves a couple times, and then right after that, he ended up enlisting in the Army. Actually, no, he enlisted in the Navy, then the Army, then the Marines. So he served in 3 branches of the military.
Holy hell!
Yeah. So I pretty much I kind of get that. I felt like that was passed down from my mom and dad. Yeah.
Wow, serving in 3 branches of the military. That's actually insane. That's actually insane.
How long did he serve for the separate ones? Do you know?
So I for separate ones, I know the last one he did. He wanted to re-enlist in the Marines, but I know he got in at 17, but he had he needed a slip because he was like he was too young at the time. So he got the slip from my grandmother. She signed off on it to let him go. to let him go into the Navy, and then I can't remember the timeline. I had to go check those DD 214s, the little stuff,
like the records,
the
and
records
stuff,
behind it and all that stuff. So I gotta check those again. But I know the one that he was like really most fond of was the Marines. Like that was his favorite. He's like if you knew my dad, you wouldn't even know. Like you would never have known that he served in the Navy or Army. Because like he was all
and
Marines.
it was different back then too.
Yeah,
you know, they were brutal.
I would never say this. I would never say this about my dad and my Uncle Ken. Whenever my dad was alive, he would be talking to him, and like the phrases that they use, like it's like, man, like back in the day, man, like if you had a problem with your sergeant, you just took it behind and just duked it out. And he's like, now, I was like, this is their words, not mine, because I have utmost respect. He's like, yeah, now they're just a bunch of pussies. And I'm like, I'm just sitting back. I was like, man, they're like still going to, like, they're ready to go to war. I wouldn't call it like, man. I was like, now I'm just like back.
Yeah, but I've also been told the same thing, and so my grandfather, he served in the Army, and they said when he was alive, he was like, no, if you had a problem, you would beat the shit out of each other and deal with it. If they had a problem with you, they would jump you, and he was like, now, you get like sent to like have a talk with somebody or something,
But I'm personally, I'm just like, you know what? There's better ways to resolve these things, So but also for me too, I'm just like, damn. I was like, I'm pretty sure they go get down at times. Like,
I mean, they have to, you know?
Like, bro, you got a problem with somebody. I'm pretty sure they'll do it. Like, there's like that's because I have a family member that's still he knows he's military for life, Marines and all that stuff, enlisted. He actually found his wife through there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like,
those are always the good stories.
Yeah. So like, I know, like, if you look at him, that's one person who I'm not saying it to, just because like I know how real he is about it.
Yeah.
Those guys.
And I think it depends on like what your job is in each branch too. Because I have friends that I think probably maybe close to 10 people that I know that are in one of the branches of the military, and half of them love it, and half of them are like, I am getting the fuck out of here, But the ones who love it are like, dude, I love this. This is who I am, and this is who I'm going to retire here. And I mean, I guess it just depends on, because when you go in, you get assigned a job, and you either, I guess you either like it or you don't, from what I heard.
Oh yeah, man. But still, at the same time, for me, I'm just looking. It's like, bro, it's like, I just found that fucking crazy that they would say that. I'm like, bro, like, are you kidding me? It's like, but from their perspective, they were like, oh, a lot has changed. Just like how, like, in like society just now, like everything has changed from back then to now. So it's like, hey, there's a lot of shit that, hey, bro, like, that might have not been right, bro. Like, y'all didn't have to fight over that. Like, y'all could have just talked this out.
Right.
I played football in high school, and almost all of my coaches were former military. And so they were like military in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Oh,
that's when they get twigs and start smacking you on the legs.
I had one coach, I'm not going to say his name, but he was a Vietnam vet, and that dude was so crazy. And the things that they would call you, like, there's no way that you can get away with now. So I went to high school. I was a freshman in 2004, so 2004 through 2008. And the things that they would call you on the field, F word, the one I'm referring to, pussy, this, that, and the other. Like, I was like, dude, if they tried to do that now, there's no way they would be employed.
All my coaches back in the day, they'd be like, "Come on, limp dick,
yeah,
come on." There was one kid, he had a small little gap in his teeth. You gap tooth son of a bitch! You better keep on running. They were, coaches are brutal, but I mean I think I like that. It's like it's a good memories. Like,
it makes sense in the context, right?
Yeah,
you're playing a sport that's very brutal,
right.
So they kind of want to harden you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember one of the things they would say is we would have to do like lift our legs, or we'd be laying on our back, lift our legs, and we'd have to keep it like 6 inches above the ground. they'd be like, if that's 6 inches, your girlfriend would be real happy.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody's like, well, up here because it's easier, you know. But yeah, no, man, I think good coaches, you know, they don't have to be as brutal as that, but I think good coaches are necessary, you know, and you know, in high school and when I was younger, man, people would talk to me crazy like that, and I'd be like, man, forget this. Like, I'm not dealing with this crap. But looking back, man, it was so, it was an experience, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they're actually wanting you to be the best person that you could be, or be the best athlete that you could be, or whatever, you know?
Yeah, like I feel like a great example is my coach who passed away, Saul. He was he was one of those guys, like, I'll say it like this too. He completely changed from when I first walked the gym to the very end of it, because I feel like he gotten soft. I looked over and I remember doing a seminar, doing a seminar, and the person who was running the seminar was Rico Rodriguez, and a former UFC heavyweight champ. My coach coached him to it, and you know, we're training, we're doing it, and next you know, he's a little pep in his step and all that stuff going, and he's like, man, I was like, damn it, I was like, what, like everybody's, I don't know what's going on. He's like, man, it's like, I wish I had this coach whenever I wish I had this. He's like, he went soft, and I'm like, wait, he was worse than this? Are you kidding me? And like, wait, are you telling me this guy was worse than that? He already calls everybody meathead, a fucking spaz, a jackass. Like,
spaz. Fucking. That was one that my head football coach used to say, you're a fucking spaz. He didn't say it to me, of course.
Yeah, he'd come up with some very funny one-liners. I'd loved it, man.
Yes.
There's a couple times where he called somebody a beefalo.
That would have been me.
It was hilarious, and I'm sitting back like, you know. But then once we got into O Athletic, he also really was like, it's like there's a lot of like too many white people. Yeah. You know, so I gotta really dumb this down. I can't, you know, I gotta be very, you know,
people watching. Yeah. I know. And who was that? His name slipped my mind, but the guy that gets the coach that does the tasing.
Talking about
Drickus
Du Plessis.
Yep.
I was like, damn. I was like, you know, a part of me is just like, man, that guy's a fucking idiot. But then at the same time, he's going out there and winning. I was like, I don't know.
Dude, I trip out. Yeah. I trip the fuck out, because if you look at him technically, he is not sound whatsoever. But nonetheless, he finds some way to win every time. It's so insane.
Yeah, I was just telling this to my training partner. I was like, man, I was having a conversation with somebody else, and they asked me if I watched the Strickland versus DDP fight, and I'm just like, no. They're like, what? You didn't watch that fight? I was like, no. I was like, he's like, why? I was like, that fight to me, like, I want to watch like violence, but I also want to watch it with a little bit of technique. If you watch, like, I got the clips off of Instagram. That's all I needed to see. I don't need to see any more. Like, I don't need to see any more. Like, it just looked untechnical. It's just like they're just like throwing, and it's just not just something. I'm not like, you're throwing your overhands, you're chasing him. Like, it looks like a street fight. So I'm just like, man, I'm not watching. Like, I'm not gonna watch this for like the technical issues. You know, like, I'll watch Israel Adesanya all day. Like, I like watching him. Like, watching him. But like, again, like I say all this, but they went out there and they beat him.
It's so crazy.
And I just sit back and I'm just like, I would have thought Izzy would have ran through both of them, and for a good minute it looked like in the DDP fight, like, it looked like Izzy was like on his way to winning, but slip ups happened. But at the same time, bro, it's like I don't think they're technically good, but damn, they get it done, and I can't knock them for that. You know, if it's working, it's working for you, man.
And Sean Strickland's another one, just such a weird style.
See, and I hate it, man. I hate it because I feel like I felt like it got worse, because there was a guy, he was going, I forget who he was fighting, but he had his Philly show up, and he was just like, come on. I think it was Jack, but I can't remember which Jack it was. He was beating the guy. He was throwing jabs. He was like,
come on, Jack.
Yeah, the whole entire time. I was like, man, I like that. I like that Strickland, but once he's like he's throwing, he's chasing the guy, he's like overhands, like it looks like very ugly, hideous punches. I'm like, I don't like that one. Like, but I understand, like I get it. That's how you fight. That's how you fight. But you know, like I liked it whenever he was a lot more technical and he's like being able to put guys down. You know, so
his defense is really good though somehow, and it's like doesn't look technically correct, but
yeah, it's well. I think there's also the thing too where like you see a guy training and you're used to seeing just one, like seeing it. Like I say it like this. I like sparring guys who are super technical because I know how they're gonna throw their jab. Yeah. I know how they're gonna throw their cross. I know how they're gonna throw their kick. I know how they're gonna throw it's nothing that I haven't seen before. It's those guys with the X factor that have like that will throw an awkward punch and you're just like, what the fuck? How did that hit me? Like, oh shit, I saw it. Like, it's weird. Like, this is why a lot of these guys who best way to explain it is like a lot of these guys on the regional scene, you'll see these guys that like have terrible records. They're not good fighters. You know, they just show up just to get paid, like to get a small little paycheck and then just dip out. And they just like the excitement. They'll show up and you'll see that they have a couple wins and you're just like, how the fuck did they get those wins? You're like, you look at the fight, you're like, oh, well, against that guy, like a guy who's like 9-1 and you like, you're his one? Like you're his one, that you're the guy that beat him. Like how the fuck did that happen? You're just looking like, oh, he got caught with something he's not used to seeing at all. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like that.
That's one of the beautiful things about MMA though, is that it's so varied in terms of style. Like I like Muay Thai and I like to watch. I don't know if you watch like One Championship.
At times, yeah.
But you almost feel like with the Muay Thai fights, you're seeing the same fight. You know, because the styles are so similar.
So brutal, though.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm actually just getting in that space.
Right
For some reason, it's more. Even though I love striking and I love elite striking, for some reason it's more entertaining for me to watch MMA because you do have that X factor and people are unconventional. And there's always, of course, the threat of the takedown. So it makes it like more interesting. I feel like when I'm watching Muay Thai, I'm seeing just different iterations of the same fight sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'd say it like this. Like that's what made like somebody like Anderson Silva so good, that he was so good at the basics where he was able to put himself in a position where he can do unorthodox stuff, like going backwards, knocking out Forrest Griffin like that. Like nobody really does that. And like Forrest Griffin, if you watch him while he's throwing everything technical, but he's just throwing that. He's just like on the back step, just throwing the punch and knocking him out. Like Anderson Silva was one of those guys that would be able to throw something awkward, in awkward position, like Izzy too, man. Izzy would be so lean far back. Like whenever he knocked out Robert Whittaker, man, like damn, like bro, he dodged the hook and he's still like I would never tell anybody to throw something like that, but he knows his position, he knows where his body's at, so he was able to throw like a good, like I think it was like hooks off of it and was able to knock him out like that. Like that was beautiful.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah, so like I can appreciate that, but whenever it's like a little bit more like crazy, like I didn't like watch Artem Lobov fighting. Like I didn't I didn't like watching the GOAT fight, man. I didn't like watching. Like I was just like, it's just like even then, like even someone like I like it, like I'll watch him fight, but at the same time, like I would like it's very entertaining because he goes for it, but like John Lineker, he's just nothing but a hook guy, comes straight forward. You know, that kind of gets a little bit like, you know, I've seen it. Once you've seen it once, you've seen it. You're gonna, that's him for the rest of the time, you know. So, but yeah, like I can appreciate those guys who are gifted in striking. You know, again, those guys are very, very, very good at what they do. Speaking
of the strikers, the Bantamweight division is stacked with amazing strikers.
Oh yeah,
Sean O'Malley.
Oh yeah,
Corey Sandhagen. You thinking about fighting these guys?
All day, every day. Yeah.
I not to interrupt. I did see Corey. He was actually breaking down your last fight, and he was showing a lot of appreciation on his channel on YouTube. And so that's why I was curious when you brought that up.
I like Corey. I met him through Rafian Stotts, a mutual training partner between us, and like talked to him. He's a really nice guy, man. He's a really nice guy. Trained with him for a bit. You know, we wrestled. We didn't get to spar We didn't really spar. But
I would have loved to see
grappling, man. Nah, the grappling portion, man. I was having fun, man. We were scrambling. It was just like constant, like back and forth, scrambles and goes and all that stuff. And especially at that time, like I was super out of shape. And I was just getting right back into it. So I was like, and I was trying to make sure I was making sure everybody else was good, So, but yeah, no, he was solid. He's a good, solid guy. I like him a lot. I like the way he fights. Very like. Puts himself in that dark place to go fight. Yeah. But yeah,
I
I
like his
appreciate
eyes when he comes out. They almost look completely black. You ever notice
that? Yeah,
I
like it. And I really like how.
And I love his nickname, Sand. Yeah. It's just such a cool name. I'll put you to sleep. That's crazy.
But yeah, no, they're all on the list, man. Like whoever they put in front of me, man, that's who I'm fighting, man. So for me, I would like to fight one of those guys just because they're at the top of the division, but I had to work my way back up there. I was there, but then I kind of fell off a little bit, so now I'm working my way back up there.
That's the beautiful thing about MMA, though, right? I mean, you had a 2-fight skid. Nobody has to be perfect in MMA. You get a couple of victories on your belt, and you're right back in it, right back in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'd love to see you against Sandhagen or O'Malley.
Oh, yeah.
Striker's delight.
Oh, yeah. I would love that. I would love one of those two for sure. One of those two for sure. That would be fun fights, but I again, like I always tell people, it's like I can't look too far ahead because, man, if I start looking too far ahead, I start like I felt like I did that with my first fight with Font, because like I remember my fight, and whenever I fought Font, I was like I beat this guy. Realistically, I just need one more and I'm there. Like one more. And
he was 6 at the time, right? Rank 6.
Yeah, he was rank 6. He was like high up there. So it was either I beat him, especially with where the division was at, and I think at that time O'Malley was waiting for the winner of Henry and Aljo. And so I was like, man, there's a possibility I can probably sneak my way into getting a title shot. Like if I were to knock out Rob, that probably would have put me in position, because me and O'Malley had a little bit of history at that time. So it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's the fight to make. If everything went the same with Henry and Aljo and O'Malley, that probably would have been easy for me to be like, hey, we had a problem, we had a beef, let's go settle this.
He called you out, huh?
Yeah, so it would have been great. But again, that's where I fucked up, and I put myself so far ahead that I completely forgot about the person who I was in front of. I started believing in my own Kool-Aid, and went in that fight, and I hit him with a shot, and I just remember being like, because I was saying it the whole camp too. I was like, I know this guy is gonna be tough to put away. He's gonna be tough to put away, and he's like, I knew like it was gonna be 3 rounds, and then next thing you know, like in that fight, I hit him once, and everything just went out the window. I was like, bro, I'm fucking hit him out, and like I'm gonna find that shot, and I'm looking for it. And I tell this to everybody. When you start chasing the knockout, you get knocked out. And yeah, and that's what happened. Like I started chasing for it, and I went for it a little bit too much, and I didn't notice in that fight at the time like a tide switch. I was like, oh shit, like I'm losing these exchanges. I need to start moving. And then at one point where I was circling, I was like looking, I was like, I got to get him off me. So I like in my head, I was like, I got to get him off me. But I'm throwing with fucking heat. So I threw heat, and it put him right in position to hit me. I was like, fuck. I woke up, and I was like, and I remember just after like in the moment, like thinking I was blocking the punches that were coming at me. And next thing you know, like the ref pulls me off. I was like, he got me. It's like, I don't mind it. Like, it was like the ref did his job. I remember sitting up and like, nah, fuck. It's like I fucked up. God damn it. And then I look in the back. I was like, I started watching the fight again. I started seeing it. I was like, so all those punches hit me? I was like, oh, I thought I was blocking. And I was over here thinking like, I thought my face was being covered. And I look, and my hand's going. I'm like, oh, all right, well, but yeah, no, I completely like. That was my fuck up on that part, was like me. Like I even looked at my coaches, and they thought I was yelling at them. I was like, nah, it's me. I fucked up. That was on me. That was on my end. But yeah, but I completely overlooked somebody who I shouldn't have, and that's where like I was most angry. I was like, man, I knew who I had in front of me, like, and I completely overlooked him, and that fucked me at the end.
How old are you right now?
30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting in the mix now. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for you. And I almost had asked. I mean, is there a name on the roster that you're looking towards? But I mean, it sounds like anybody.
Yeah,
at this point.
Anybody, and then also guys who called me out. Like guys who called me out. Like there's a couple guys that called me out. Like John Castaneda has called me out. I've been wanting to get that fight. Daniel Santos, he called me out a while back ago, and then he still kind of calls me out on Instagram every once in a while. And then Peyton Talbot, who called me out during the International Fight Week, and I thought that was pretty fucking cool. I was like, damn, he uses that platform to call me out. I was like, all right, dog. Like,
that would be an amazing fight.
I was like, I fuck with it. I remember being in that moment. I was a little bit hungover. I was a little bit hungover watching the fight, so I'm sitting there, I was like, oh gosh, like oh shit, and I look and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, somebody, like my training partner messaged me like with the eye emojis. I remember like, oh yeah. And I remember being like, because I'd watched the fight, but we almost got into a wreck on the bus on the way to the Circa Resort to go to the UFC watch party and all that stuff. And we almost got in a wreck. And I remember like, oh fuck, like we almost died. We almost died. I was like, oh, all right. So I ended up getting off the phone, and then my phone just starts blowing up. Everybody's like, hey, called you. I was like, what? Who fucking called me? I was like, oh, it's like, oh shit. All right, cool. This is dope.
Let's go. Yeah.
I was like, all right. But yeah. So one of those guys, so honestly, those guys right now, like to me, like seem very fitting for right now. I would want to get somebody in the top 15, but I think everybody in the top 15 is kind of booked. Even Jose Aldo had to take a fight out the rankings as well too. So it's like a lot of these guys aren't really like even Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez, he's in the rankings, but he has to fight somebody who's just outside the rankings. So it's kind of like a clusterfuck of like who's even available.
Right.
Because if it was up to me, I would be after that. Like after I knocked out Vinicius, I would have called for a rematch against Font. Just because like I know for myself, like I know how good I am, and also at the same time, I just knew my biggest mistakes in that fight were just overlooking him, and I know what in my head, like I knew exactly the moment I fucked up, and it's the moment I overlooked him, and I started overlooking him and hit him with one shot that I knew that stunned him, and I was like, I'm getting him out of here, and then fuck,
Well, I think everything in life, just in general, I take losses daily. Not every loss that I've gotten, it has always taught me a lesson, and it's always like allowed me to progress with a different mindset, and it sounds like you're ready, my brother. Like, I'm excited. Me and Barry, we run every card. We run a little watch party. We get some drinks over here and start watching. And yeah, man, I could already see you on the TV. Yeah. So yeah, that's exciting. Well, another thing I was gonna say, off topic again, but I know you're real technical on the boxing side of things. What do you think about this Jake Paul and Mike Tyson thing?
Oh man, that one right there, I am like, who's letting who's letting Mike Tyson fight? Because here's the thing is that I vividly remember I was in Dallas for UFC. And I remember being there, and I remember seeing Mike Tyson need a cane or a walker to help walk.
Oh, shit.
He was that bad at that time. So I'm sitting back just like, wait, he is now going to fight Jake Paul. And I'm just
who's been dedicated.
Yeah, he's been training his ass off. And also, too, like, he has some pop in his punches, whether you like him or not. He has some pop in his punches. He knows how to use it. He knows how to use a jab, and Mike Tyson, he's Mike Tyson, but at the same time, bro, like I can't get the image out of my head where he was needing a cane to help walk. So I'm just sitting back.
Maybe he was just like really stoned or like on some mushrooms.
Oh no, I remember he had a hunchback over.
Really?
He was like, it was bad. And I remember
that's
being like
crazy, actually.
Like man, it was. I remember seeing that. I just who let it happen to me?
Yeah,
Like, who let it happen?
This is supposed to be a fully like sanctioned fight, rather than an exhibition. Am I right? Is that right?
From what I believe, they're trying to move to make it an actual fight.
Holy crap!
Yeah, because
I
know
have the same
recently,
opinion. It's distasteful.
I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all, just because of the fact that, man, I it's in my head. I can't get it out, and I'm just like, bro, if Jake Paul knocks him out, what does that do? Like, because even then, like, just look at Vitor Belfort versus Evander Holyfield. Like, that happened, and that happened. I'm pretty sure there was no drug testing, and right. Evander Holyfield 60, almost 70. Even though Vitor Belfort is at the end of his career, he's not 60 or 70. You know, he's not Evander's age by one bit. He's in his 40s, so he's able to have a little bit more youth on his side. And if he's also back on the TRT, then like he's definitely like has a big advantage. And man, it only took him one round to get Evander out of there. Right. So it's like, I'm like, bro, like even, no matter how good Evander was, like that age discrepancy and also like how like your body is, man, it takes a toll. You know, and I don't think it's a good sign. I don't like it for Mike at all. Yeah,
it's hard to be with it, you know, because I mean everything is so financially motivated these days, and it's not rather than like a actual pairing, you know.
Yeah. Like if I'm a Jake Paul fan, I'm looking at this fight like I'm like, yeah, like if he takes him out, he's like, because I think a lot of Jake Paul fans are a little bit more like forgiving on who he fights. Right. Like it's like, nah, he just beat that guy. He beat that guy up. He beat that guy up. Like, of course, like he beat Nate Diaz. He knocked out Tyron Woodley. He knocked down Ben Askren. He's fighting all these MMA guys, you know, and kind of like he's good enough to be like in boxing, MMA fighters. So I'm like, hey, you know, it counts for something, you know. So, but like I feel like he's like, oh, you want to fight an actual boxer? He fights Tommy Fury's brother. What's that guy's name?
Is that it? I thought his name is Tommy. Yeah, Tommy.
Oh, it is Tommy. Yeah. He fought Tommy Fury. And he
Tyson
lost.
Fury.
Tyson Fury is the big brother.
Ended up losing, but it was a pretty close fight where he knocked him down. So it's like, hey, that shows that he's good enough to fight some guy.
Yeah, he's not no
boxing.
joke. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that guy's pretty competent. So you see him start fighting these other guys. I was like, like I didn't think that fight with Mike Perry was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a little bit closer, just because I thought Mike Perry was gonna get in the mix a little bit more, but like. Jake Paul did his thing with the jab and just making sure that he stayed long against him, not kind of letting him close the distance. And yeah, like I just with the skills that Tyson has, I hope his skills can carry him through. But it's one of those things that I don't see it because, again, youth.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, who's the last person that Tyson boxed? It was
It was Roy Jones.
Roy Jones.
And it was like I feel like they had like a gentleman's agreement to not really hit each other.
Right, right. Yeah, man. I love what Jake Paul and his brother Logan have been doing, because they've done excellent. You know. But as far as him facing Mike Tyson, I mean, I don't know. I would probably pass if I was, you know, but like I said, it probably will bring in views, and it'll probably be something that Jake could rub in Dana White's face, like, oh, look at how many pay-per-views I have, you know, like, because I know that's a whole nother can of worms right there.
Oh yeah, so I'm just sitting back. I'm like, I think their fight's gonna be on Netflix, so I don't know if I'm gonna tune in, but if it's on and that's the only thing that's on, I'm probably gonna tune in. So
yeah, I mean, how can you not? Because I mean, it's big names, you know, and
I've never bought a Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Pay-per-views. I mean, I've watched them. Wait, this is going to be on the internet?
I was about to say.
I've watched legal clips on YouTube.
Don't say it, Barry.
Dana White doesn't mind if you crack stream those.
Is that what it's called? Man, yeah. So what is it? How is it working? I mean, I don't really know the hierarchy. So is you technically are under Dana? Like Dana's the boss, or like how does that work?
So I think Dana as of right now is like the just the face.
Gotcha.
Hunter Campbell pretty much is running, like, I feel like he's the more everyday guy that runs the day-to-day operations. And then after that, he has Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard as the matchmakers, and that kind of trickles down, you know. So
Gotcha. Okay, and I'm sure they got a full team under them to kind of make pairings. And things like that.
So it makes it easier. Like, but those are the higher. That's like more of the hierarchy. But
and
like
their like technical base is out of Vegas, right?
Vegas, yeah.
Vegas. What do you think about the Sphere, by the way?
The Sphere, I think it's a dope. I think the actual place is cool. I just don't know how they're gonna make it happen for the UFC. Like, I kind of been wondering that the whole entire time, because every time I've gone to Vegas and I seen the Sphere, I'm just like, dude, that's pretty fucking cool. Like,
I've only seen it on clips or whatever, but
seeing it in person, I think one of the first times I think I saw it, it looked like a basketball, and I'm just like, that looks so fucking real. I was like, this is like it was blowing me out of my, like, I was like, what the fuck? I remember looking at the hotel window, seeing that, I was like, dude, that's kind of crazy, bro. That's wild. So I just don't know how it's gonna look with the fights, and all that stuff. It
sounds like they're dropping a good amount of money into it, into the full setup. You
definitely
know,
hyping it for sure.
Definitely hyping it. Yeah.
I hope it does what I think they're wanting it to do. I just don't know how. What's the best way to explain it? I don't know how it's gonna be done. Like, I don't know how they'll do it.
Have you ever been on the inside?
No, I've never been on the inside.
Oh, okay.
But
I haven't either.
I never have, but I had a friend that went to an immersive concert or something there, and there was the band playing down on the stage, and then you see it all on this this huge, like, I guess, sphere, big screen. But I mean, it looked crazy, and if the camera angles are right in the actual facility, I think it would be nuts
just
to be
like
there.
half, right? So like they have the stage up front, and then there's the screen behind it, the kind of sphere. So there's only like half of a stadium, right?
Yes.
Watching it.
Yes.
That's got to be crazy, especially if you're in a fight in it and you're like seeing your massive image right behind it.
Yeah. I never thought about that, like looking up and seeing yourself. Like, holy crap. Yeah. I think there's definitely a lot involved, and hats off to everybody organizing that, because I mean, I could barely organize in this thing,
I'm looking at it, man. I just don't know how. I feel like they kind of missed the mark on this. I kind of wish they didn't do it as a UFC noche, trying to hype it up for the Mexicans and all that stuff. I just wish it was its own thing. Like I feel like they could have done a separate date for the Sphere. Because now, I feel like they kind of put themselves in a box where they're forced to do certain things, and they have a lot of these fights. Man, I remember I seen a lot of these people complain about the fight card, and people that are on the main card, on the prelims and all that stuff, and just kind of I feel like they're kind of missing the mark a little bit. I feel like most of the promotion has been done just strictly on the Sphere. And the fact that it's going to be UFC Noche, it's a hats off to the Mexican community in fighting. But I feel like they haven't marketed the fights enough. Because I feel like Sean O'Malley and Merab is by itself is just a fantastic fight that that MMA hardcores need. It's just a fantastic fight, and I feel like they're missing the mark because everything when it comes when I feel when I watched it or heard anything about the Sphere, it's not about the fight, it's about the location of where it's at, how much money they dropped into this, and it's just kind of where's the promotion for the fight, the most promotion I've seen is from O'Malley and Merab himself, right. And I also felt like they kind of missed the mark on the main event too, which if they're trying to do a big send off for the Mexicans, it should have been Alexa Grasso, the main event. She should have been the one headlining because she's Mexico's only champ right now. And then on top of that, if you really wanted to double down and make it a Noche card, I would have done my absolute best to try to either get Yair or Brandon Moreno, those guys on that card, so they can try to fight. I don't know the logistics behind it, whether they couldn't do it or what, but I would have been doing my damnedest, to help beef up that card, because that card needs a little bit more superstar power, and you got Raul Rosas on the very first prelim, and I feel like he should be on the main card, so I started kind of start seeing some of the spots where I feel like they kind of missed the mark. But again, I hope it like does very well. I hope it's very fantastic. Like it does fantastic, because again, I'm working for them, I'm a fighter. I'm a UFC fighter, so I'm hoping everything does well. Because if it does well for them and they just go out there and just absolutely kill it, it trickles down everywhere. So
it seems like it's going to kill for sales to actually go watch the live event, but maybe not so much the pay-per-view itself.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Man, that's
wait. Is this a pay-per-view? Now I'm wondering.
It's a pay-per-view.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the part that I'm kind of sitting back on. I was like, I wonder how
they're gonna make it $100. Watch
the ticket sales, man. I wonder how those I was low key thinking about. I was like, man, I know everybody was talking about the ticket sales, and it's like, man, I wonder if the prices drop low enough if I can go. But I was sitting back,
tickets?
Not while I'm out there. No, if I were to be out there, probably.
Oh, okay.
Probably, but like every time they fought in Texas, if I haven't fought in Texas, they offered me some tickets to go.
Okay.
Nice.
I've gone to every UFC Houston event that they've done here. I just wish I'd be fighting that night, but every Houston event, I've gotten some really good seats. And then I went to Dallas, I went to Austin, San Antonio. Didn't go to the one in Austin. Didn't go at that time, but yeah. Yeah, dude.
I've only been to one. I've never been to a UFC. It's like on the list. That's why I was telling Barry the other day. I was like, man, we have to go.
Yeah.
But I've only been to one, or I say one, two events, and it was for PFC, for Peak Fighting.
Okay.
I have a friend out there, and he fights for. He trains over. With Uriah Faber, in Alpha Male, and he's had a couple professional fights, and actually in our hometown of Beaumont, Texas, and I'm usually going, and I the next day I wake up and I can't talk because I'm like yelling so much, but Trent Ebarb, he's a good cat, he's making his way. He's pretty dedicated on his craft, and so I always like calling and chat with him, because I'm like, I need to stick with my with my routine,
Hell yeah. Shoot, man, if y'all ever want to go watch some fights, man, Fury, they have this month, actually they have a couple cards. They have one September 13th and another one, I think it's September 22nd or the 23rd. One of those two.
Wow.
Yeah, one's on a Friday, one's on a Sunday. The bigger one's probably going to be on the Sunday. So September 13th is the Friday. So
nice. And we need to pick up some tickets and go.
Yeah.
It's local.
Yeah, right there off of 59 Escapade.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that far from here. For me, I drive all the way. But yeah.
How far out are you from here?
I'm about, on a good day, 35 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Day, 35 minutes.
Okay. Out towards Katy?
Southeast.
Southeast. Okay.
Southeast, yeah.
Gotcha. Man, I tell you, Houston's it's just ridiculous, man.
I really appreciate whenever I go out somewhere and I talk to people and they're like, yeah, man, so you're from Houston, right? And I was like, yeah. So they're like, the part that I know that they know their shit about Houston, and they're like, what part? And I was like, yeah, the southeast side. Is like, yeah, no, but I'm not talking about I'm talking about are you from Katy? Are you from I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So you know your way around. Yeah, I like it. I like talking. I'll talk to you. Let's have a conversation.
Yes.
So
Houston's just so huge. I mean, there's so many different parts of Houston, and I know the gym that I go to, it's 7 miles from here, but at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, and if it's raining, dude, 45 minutes.
Oh, bro,
it's what?
You would think that people here in Houston would be able to drive.
Yeah.
Especially with how much rain we get. It just feels like, even without the rain, people still don't know how to fucking drive. It
honestly,
makes me mad.
Honestly.
I'm just sitting back. I get road rage, and I'm just oh, damn, bro.
That Forest could be running.
Yeah, bro. I hate it. I'm just like, man. And also, too, I got a Ford F-150, and I drive all the way over here to the Heights every single day. I'm just like, damn,
Jeez, yeah, man. I used to have a truck. I ended up getting a Ford Escape, and it works well. It's an SUV. I get probably 22 miles per gallon if I'm being real light with it.
Yeah. Oh no,
you never are,
which is rare. Yeah.
I used to have a small little Toyota Corolla. Whenever I was working, and just I think that's why I got here. Would get there so fast. It was so small to be able to scroll through. But yeah, no, that Toyota Corolla, like, man, went through everything. Like that was the first car I actually paid for. Like that was my first actual buy. I was like 22 years old. I was like, yeah, because everything else, like, because my dad was very good at like he would buy cars, sell them, buy cars and sell them, buy cars and sell them. So he was like doing that consistently. So like people always trip out when I tell them how many cars I had by the time I was like 22, and I'm like, yeah, I had like about 9 cars.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I had about 9 cars, and I was like, and I didn't really officially start driving until I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, I didn't get my my driver's license when everybody else did at 16. I got mine at 18, and my very first was a '98 Jeep Cherokee, and then what was it right after? I think it was a Chevy Aveo. A Chevy, like the small little thing, and then right after that, I had a Toyota Camry.
Hey, those Camrys, they'll run. Yeah. They'll run for miles, man.
These none of the vehicles I'm saying are in the 2000s. And then I had a '98 Lincoln that I actually got to trick out a little bit. I put some rims on there.
Yeah, I got to swing that baby.
Yeah, I was like, I like, it was one of those things. If I turned a little bit too much, the wheels were scraping on the side. Had that, and then after that, I ended up getting into a Ford Explorer, a '98. Again, '98 was my year. A little sports track. Was it? Yeah, Ford Explorer, and then '98 Dodge, and then what else did I get after that? It's off the top of my head. I'm fucking forgetting something. '98 Dodge. Chevy Tahoe, and then after that Chevy Tahoe broke down, I got into the Toyota Camry that I had. Like I was so excited. It was 2015. I was like,
is your truck your favorite? No.
The truck that was my favorite was the '98 Dodge.
Oh, really?
That one was my favorite because that one has a story to it. That one was my grandfather.
Was it a diesel?
No, it was just a single cab. I was living it up. I was living it up. My brother at the time, because it was my grandfather's, then it was my dad's, then it was my brother's, then it was mine, and then I gave it back to my brother. And he ended up selling it off, and I was like, bro, how come he didn't sell it to me? I wanted that truck. I loved that truck, man. It was like I was ready to like just put so much. Oh wait, and I forgot about the other one. It had a. Well, I actually, since I kind of inherited it, it was like kind of like me and my brothers too. So 9 vehicles. It was a 2013 Chevy Silverado.
Oh,
so I had 9.
That was a good year too.
Nine by the time I was 22.
That's insane. Yeah. The first car I had was a 2001 Pontiac Firebird, and I was such a dumbass in school, man. I was so dumb. I worked and I saved up enough to put 215s in the back of it. And I would, these big old freaking speakers, the subwoofers, they would shake everything like within several hundred feet. And I remember I got at my high school, I was, there's a couple girls around. I was cranking the music up. I was like, let's, look at me. Anyways, complete idiot in high school. But I got detention because I had the music up so loud that it knocked the principal's family portrait off the wall.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, I think it fell and got damaged or something, and he was not happy at all.
Shit, I done forgot the best one. I had a '98 Lexus.
Oh,
and that's another one. Like right before the Lincoln, I had the '98 Lexus, and that's the one I got in a car wreck for. Car wrecking, and I actually had bass in that. Man, I did. That's everything. I was like, AC. I was like, because I was like one of the only cars I had that had AC. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I was like, fuck yeah. I had bass in it. Not like it was one of those that like I was like, like that song King Kong by Jizz.
Yeah, yes.
That was like
I
would
King
jam.
Kong in the trunk.
That's the one I was just consistently jamming because that's how much it would shake. I was
dude,
like,
yeah, I would play that song too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would just vibrate everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm not into cars myself, but I had a brother who like loved cars, and he put like 210s in his car, and he used to love playing what's that song? 151 Rum.
I think I know what you're talking about, and like it has like a real low bass, and it's
yeah.
Ooh, and like everything's just shaking.
I'm trying to remember the name of the artist. That's gonna bother me.
Man. They have there's a lot of songs out there that just have just ridiculous bass. But yeah, it's speaking of Rich Homie Quan died.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I know, I was kind of sad. That was another high school song that I would play when in Crank Up.
I was like, man, he was only 34. Damn.
Yeah, I know. Life is crazy. Life, you never know, man. It passes like nothing. You know, look up and freaking, dang. Yeah, I know. So, dang. So I guess, you know, just to start wrapping this up, I did want to talk to you about your training camp. Is this like a 6-week thing that you do, or what is like a full training camp for you?
Full training camp for me is like close to 8 to 12 weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
8 to 12 weeks. If I have a fight lined up, like
if they 3 months, that's in 3 months. I bet you could get beefed.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like first month is usually going to be like kind of smoothing your way into it, like trying to get your body ready for what's about to come, and then that second month is like grinding while getting your food right, and then the next month is more like, hey, we're focusing on making sure that you don't get hurt. You're already in a good position health wise, like physically. You know, we're trying to make sure you don't get hurt, you don't peak too early, and then making sure you get your food right and you make weight. So like last month is just like, hey, we're gonna make sure that you're gonna be making weight.
And how is making weight? I mean, is it pretty brutal?
At times, yeah. At times it can be pretty brutal. Like these last couple times I've had to go make weight, they've been getting to me. Like holy shit, like bad. So it's like in that
what do you walk around at?
So I've been walking like right now I've been like at 65, but I'm like I've been working my way to get underneath 60. So I've been consistently these past 2 weeks been like underneath 60, and that's because like there was rumblings in the air, and I'd hit up a nutritionist, and I was like, hey, like, let's go, like Jason Waterfather, and it was like, hey, like, it's gonna be hard, but this is what you need to do. I was like, all right, cool. Did it for 1 week and never heard anything back, and I was like, oh shit, like any updates or anything like that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go back to eating regular because he was right. It's gonna suck. He was completely right. It was gonna suck. So, but yeah.
Is it? What sucks about it? Is it the amount of food that you could have, or is it
the amount of food that I can have and the amount of work I need to do? So like I was trying to do like 2 to 3 sessions a day, and at the time I was only like my heavier days were 1,200 calories. So it was like I was having to drop like.
Are you using like MyFitnessPal, or like what are you using?
Yeah, MyFitnessPal is like was a thing I'd be using to track calories, but yeah, like tracking calories is definitely needed, but also again like that was also on me for not staying within a distance that I needed to, because right after my fight in May, I was asking to kind of get put back on a card, and once I started hearing nothing, I was like, it kind of bummed me out, so I started eating a little bit more, and then also at the same time I never stopped working out, so like I just kind of doubled down on strength conditioning. So like even my strength trainer was like, hey, like dude, your shoulders are getting big. Like we started talking because I talked to him about like, hey, there's a possibility let's do more of this instead of that, and he's like, all right. And then he starts talking to me, he's like, yeah, you're looking bigger. He's like, and it's not like you're not looking fluffier, you're looking more like built. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is the problem that I'm gonna have, like trying to keep my weight below 60, and that's the hard part. So for me, yeah, I'm working with a nutritionist that's gonna help me work my way down and do it a good way, because I kind of just used to just be like, oh, UC's gonna send me meals, all right, cool, yeah, they send you meals and you have a nutritionist with them, but it's more like blanket, you know. It's like, hey, we're sending you meals, this is what you do, all right, cool, you know. And then But for fight week, like I'm gonna have my own guy there with me, helping me out.
Do they provide like a massage, what is it?
Oh,
Massage
yeah,
therapist?
no,
They send these guys out to y'all's house or something.
Fight week, we have the UFC PI at their disposal. Like it's like they set up they make it as comfortable as they can for you. They even help you out with the weight cut meals and everything, you know. So like they are very good at like making sure that the fighters are well taken care of, especially for fight week. But yeah, like I know for myself, I just want the little bit of extra help.
What's it like preparing for a specific opponent? Do you watch tape yourself, or do you leave that to your coaches? I know fighters have different philosophies.
I used to just kind of leave it all to my coaches, but at the same time, for me, it's like no one's ever gonna care as much as you. So that's why I started taking the extra steps and doing it on my own as well too. Like, I gotta go out there. I gotta do my own study as well too. I gotta see this for myself, see what my trainer's seeing, see what I gotta see, get some advice, talk about it. Like kind of talk about it, see what approach you want to take, and then just like making sure that like you're not losing yourself in these transitions, you know, like while you're trying to create a game plan. It's like, you know, because you still have to be yourself as a fighter too. You can't lose yourself. You can't completely change your stance or your whole entire style just because of one certain guy, you know. So you still got to be you. So that's where I kind of lost myself too. So I was like, you know, so now I'm doing a lot more saying like, man, this last camp where we had like, even though like it was again, like for what it's worth, the guy wasn't on my level, but I treated him like he was like championship level guy. Like I was like, he's good, he's solid, but like for what it's worth, it was like a comeback fight pretty much. And like that was like my test run to be like, all right, well, this is how I want to take these approach. This is how I want my camp to start looking like. And it came out like and just went out there and just killed the guy.
yeah. Wow. And that just shows, you know, and obviously you're a professional in your field, but I look back to, because I feel like I was a professional in school because I was in school for a long time, and you know, preparing for tests, and I try to prepare for them different ways. And man, the preparation is just so important. You know, if you're getting ready for a big exam or you know, whatever you're looking at that's in front of you, whatever obstacle, the preparation is just insane, you know. And so, you know, I rewatched that fight of yours, and I was just like, damn, you know.
And like there's only a couple guys who I would really kind of sit back and just watch and see what they do, and that was like the Davey Grant fight. And that was like right after my coach had passed and all that stuff. So there was a lot going on. So like I was kind of drowning myself in work. Right. So, but this fight, you know, like I was talking to my training partner, Cameron, you know, he's younger than me, but he's also pretty smart. And he also went to college, you know, he went to school a little bit, and he treats it like he's taking a test. Like he's like, nah, like he's studying. He likes to watch. He wants to try to sit there and break it down and try to watch it. And, you know, I kind of took that from him, and looking at it, I'm like, man, I do pretty good, you know. So
yeah.
You caught him with a good counter. It seemed like he was trying to throw inside leg kick. Yeah. Like he probably watched the Martinez tape, and so he's like, oh, I'm gonna get him with the inside leg kick, and you like perfectly prepared for the counter.
Oh yeah, another southpaw. He was lankier than what I thought. I thought he was my height, like everything, but he a little bit lankier, but. I knew I was gonna, like, we were working that overhand, right? Like the different variations, different like setups to it. But whenever I got in there, I was like I don't know, there was like this different feel whenever I saw, because like at weigh-ins he looked a lot more meaner. Like he looked like he really wanted to get at me. But once we got in there, it was like I can sense the difference. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get to him. But
what do you mean by that? Sense the difference? Like you're just scared to
engage? It was like you can like. He didn't look the same. His eyes looked kind of like glossed over, like he was like intimidated a little bit. But at weigh-ins, he was in my face, and I could from what I saw, I didn't see like no fear. I was like, okay. When I got in there, like I felt the complete like tone difference, and I just see him look across the cage, and he's just like, his eyes were a little bit wider, and just kind of just like looked like he was like, oh fuck, like I was like, okay, I got him. That was it. That's all I needed. And then from there, I just needed to gauge my distance and my timing. I just saw the first right hand that I missed. I was like, just a little bit further in. And by the time I got to him, it was like, yeah, it was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, You know, like, and we were working a lot of kick defense as well too, like, because we knew he is a southpaw. He's gonna be looking to throw that inside. We knew we were ready for it too.
Yeah, man, that's what you do is I have an extreme appreciation for it because, I mean, you could ask Barry. I go in class and I get my ass beat, but it's amazing. It's awesome, you know, because you take away a lot from a sport where you're engaging in various activities, you know, and everybody that you're facing has a different style, you know. And so when you're sparring, you know, 3 minute switch, it's like everybody, you get to kind of get a taste of everybody and see the difference, you know.
So like now for me, like I'm starting to look for specific guys like who I want to emulate the guy. Like for this guy, we didn't really have too much people who can throw like that. I only had 2 guys, and one of my sparring sessions is at night. One of my sparring sessions is in the morning. So on a Monday night we spar, and on Wednesday morning we spar. The person I'm able to have on Monday night isn't able to show up that Wednesday morning, so I had to be sparring a wrestler who is a southpaw, Rafian Stotts. He's a wrestler. He's like, he can strike, but like there's no imitating that guy, like imitating that Vinicius. There was nobody that really imitate him, man. He tried his best, but I'm just like sitting back. I'm like every time after he spar, I was like, thank you. Like, thank you. I understand what you're doing, but thank you. Like, you don't have to. But on the Monday nights, I had a guy that would like, he was taller, he was lankier, and he kind of would throw like him at times, you know. So I was like, I want to work with you more. Give me 2-3 rounds. All right, cool. You know, so was able to help set up like and spar with those guys, you know.
How do you find new sparring partners? Is it something that it's people that you encounter at the gym, or
more or less people who we encounter at the gym, like, well, and every once in a while somebody will come in and want to work with us too. So like we have it's the Metro guys, and then also at the same time we have like the guys from Heritage too, that kind of makes that connection easy. So we're able to get more guys on Wednesday, but Monday nights is usually just like people who are just already been with us for a while. But those Wednesday mornings, like I like kind of working with other people in a sense of like, I sparred these, like if I train with Rafian Stotts, I'm like, bro, I just sparred with him Monday. Like, he needs a different look other than me, because I'm not fighting I don't fight like the way the guy that he's gonna fight, you know. So, right. You know, but also too at the same time, like if I don't have anything coming up, I do my best to try to mimic the guy that they're fighting and just try to give them some rounds like that. Like, I was so upset because my training, like Rafian was supposed to be fighting this Saturday, and I gave him looks that for the guy that he was gonna be fighting. I hated it because I was like going in there and I'd be working with him and just trying to throw overhands, how this guy like set up everything, and he'd be so on point, like he was so locked in like these last 3 weeks that I'm just like, bro, I'm getting a fucking headache going. Hey, just give me one and I'm done, man. So like, yeah, I don't like giving looks for my training partners because I know it's only going to lead to me getting punched.
Right.
So,
right.
but
that makes sense.
but I'll do it for my training partners 100%. Like if they show up and they're committed, like I have no problem doing it for a guy like Rafian Stotts, because he shows up to the gym, never makes an excuse, shows up to the gym, and I don't have to worry about it. My training partner Cameron Smothering, like I don't mind giving him looks or like doing all the work that I like, the extra stuff that I would do with him, because like, shit, like I know, like again, he'll fight on a Sunday, show up that Monday morning. Like that's what type of dedication he has. Like there's some guys I just look at and be like, man, why am I gonna give you a look if you're just only gonna show up for this one day and just not come back?
Right.
Like,
are you at the gym every day?
Yeah, I'm at the gym every day. Like,
see, I need to be at the gym every day. I'm not at that level or anything, but I'm working on being like the best person that I could be, like the best version of myself. Like, man, I'm down. A couple months ago, February, I started eating a little bit better, and believe it or not, I was 299 pounds.
Damn.
And so now I got on the scale just yesterday, and I was 228. So so we're making some progress.
Yeah, man. I was looking. I was like, yeah, you're not no two. You're not
no. Dude,
yeah.
you could even tell like my face was just so fat, like it was just so round, and my knee would hurt, and my body just. I mean, I was so I was so out of shape. I could come home and sleep all evening, just because my body was just like, okay, like you're so unhealthy, like you're burning all the energy that we have to offer, And so I was like, man, I have to do something. And so, I started cutting down on my portions that I eat, and, I wasn't not drinking as much alcohol anymore, because Barry, I don't think you knew me before. I think I was just starting this journey when we started hanging out. But dude, I mean, I would.
What he's really saying is he still drinks a lot.
Yeah. well, a lot less. But man, I would go out and I would just pound like all the beer that I can. Like, I mean,
beer's the worst. They're just so easy to put away.
I know, dude. Yeah,
especially
nice,
when you get
crisp beer.
Especially when you get one that you like. Like there was a point where I was really into Angry Orchards, and those to me were like apple juice. Tossing them back and just go after it, man. Yeah, I went through a phase like that as well too. Yeah, it was not a fun time for me.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I would get drunk and then I would go eat, and then I would, freaking, order fajitas and queso, and I'm here. Let me just get a couple margaritas too, and so. It definitely took its toll, but man, making a change and just being healthier and being able to go out there and freaking throw a leg kick, or just move your body and be agile is so important. And I was like, wow, like this is crazy, So that, I felt honestly he showed me the sport, and I was like, I fucking love this,
Yeah. But shoot, like luckily for me, like my the people who I would go out with, like whenever, especially around the time I started working as well too, we knew where all the, like, right after you get out of work, we knew like where the specials were. Yeah. You're just like, oh shit, Chili's just has Wednesdays, these margaritas for this much. All right, let's go. Like, oh shit, fucking Applebee's has this for that. Like, yeah, let's go. Like, bro, Buffalo Wild Wings has this. Like, oh yeah, let's go. Like, it was that consistent. I was like, all right, cool. And then,
you start getting in the groove.
That's another one, those margaritas, man. Yeah, margaritas and beers you get put away from.
Margaritas, beer, and another one that did it to me was Buffalo Wild Wings, man. Because I'll put down some wings. Like I'll put down wings with a passion. Like a couple months ago, I'm pretty sure I could have won any wing eating contest that you put me in. I got some skill when it comes to eating wings. But speaking of food, I know you're from Houston and everything. Do you have any food spots?
One of my favorites that I like to go to for burgers is Rodeo Goat, right there off of St. Emmanuel's. Oh. They have a
Rodeo Goat.
Rodeo Goat.
Really? Yeah. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's right there off of St. Emmanuel's. It's right there in they call it Edo, but it's East Downtown.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right there, close to the Toyota Center. That place has they get. Every month they do a challenge, and it's one burger versus the other burger. Which one do you like better?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, and see, I love burgers. I've been trying to cut down on my bread, but I love a good burger.
They had a couple good ones, man. Like the one that I like is the Chaca Oaxaca, and that's the. That they had, like, it has chorizo on it, and then also too, like, the fresh, like, Oaxaca cheese on it as well too.
Oh shit!
It's really good. Like, I think the last time I went to, before I had started cutting weight, they had pretty much a burger, but then they also did like the Mexican thing where they crushed hot Cheetos over it, and so it was really good.
Dude, did you see that guy? He actually goes by HTX Food Plug.
Oh shit!
And he makes these hot Cheeto covered boudin balls.
Oh damn!
And on Instagram, on his page, he has all these customers. I mean, he has lines down the block, and they'll pull it apart, and it's just nothing but cheese, like a cheese spread. Like, it's crazy. So when you said Cheetos, I was like, oh damn, That's actually the boudin balls are on my list. Like I gotta get some.
This is killing me. I haven't eaten all day. My stomach is sitting over here grumbling like crazy.
Yeah, rodeo goat, and there's another spot down there. They have.
You had me at chorizo, by the way. I was like, dude, I'm sold.
Yeah, there's another spot that's on the same street. It's man, what is it called, man? I had their they have quesadillas there. It's like a Cobos.
Oh,
Cobos.
C-O-B-O?
Yeah, C-O-B-O-S. Yeah.
C-O-B-O-S.
That place. I went there once with my sponsor, Dununa. He's a lawyer. We went over there. We shot a couple videos. Like they had a little fun video for us, like to shoot. It was like how many drinks and like doing the sobriety test. So we did it, and then at the same time, like the manager, the owner there was like giving us some quesadillas and stuff. They had like a buffalo chicken quesadilla. Then they had a barbecue. I think it was like boudin or barbecue or brisket.
Ooh.
It was really good, man. I highly suggest that place 100%. You gotta go.
That's what I was going to ask. I have yet to visit a really good barbecue place here, and everybody talks about Texas barbecue. What's a good barbecue
I actually just had some the other day. A phenomenal brisket. It's right here. Oh my God, how is this slipping my mind right now?
Truth
Barbecue. Yeah, Truth Barbecue. They have the brisket is excellent. The beef rib is like, oh my God, like it's I mean, it's good. Yeah, but I love Truth Barbecue, but I just have to throw this out there. The barbecue out of Austin, Texas is nuts. Like Salt Lick, what's that guy's name? Oh my goodness, Terry Black's, and there's another one, but I can't think of the name. Yeah, but I mean, there's three barbecue joints, three main big name barbecue joints in Austin, and the one that I had last was Terry Black's, I believe, and I mean it was just incredible, like to die for, like last meal type shit. Yeah. Yeah. But, well, boys, anything else y'all want to chat about? Oh, one more thing, dude. You know what I was thinking? You need to reach out to Johnny Dang. You know who that is?
Yeah.
You need to get you a grill for walking out, dude. That would be nuts. Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah,
he would probably honestly. I'm not speaking for him, obviously, but he would. I'm sure he would like hook you up.
Hey, man, hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah, that'd be dope.
If he does, tell him I want one too.
Hey.
But no, that would be awesome. And I was just scrolling through something today, and he had set somebody in Houston. I'm kind of gonna butcher the story because I don't actually recall the full thing, but it was a guy from Houston, and he was walking around with a grill, and Johnny Dang was like, "That's my grill," or whatever, and so I was like, dude, I bet he would hook you up with a grill.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That would be dope. Oh, fuck yeah, I'd rock one. Yeah. Especially like in the mouthpiece too.
Yeah. That would be insane. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I didn't think about.
Would they allow that?
It would have to be
like coated
over. Yeah.
Yeah, like some type of like embedded.
That would be dope.
That would be nuts. Holy crap! I didn't think about that. Also, one more thing. Do you have tattoos?
No tattoos.
So are you plan on getting any?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I know who was that fighter that we saw last week that was like, we saw him and we were like, holy hell, he tattooed his whole body.
Oh, Dan Hooker?
Yeah.
He went from having zero.
He went from having nothing to just tons of tattoos, but
everything's covered.
I was like, damn,
love Dan Hooker.
he's rocking the shit out of it though. So I was like, man, we could fucking get you a grill, get you coated with some tattoos.
Do it all, man.
Is there any reason why?
No, I don't know. Like I'm also like, when it comes to needles, I'm just not that guy.
Gotcha.
I'm just not that guy.
Yeah.
See, for me personally, I don't have any tattoos either, and I'm not like against them or anything. It's just like I've never found something that I'm like, I want that on my body.
Yeah.
Right. I'm working on my leg right now, and I have like some Dia de las Muertas, some stuff on my leg, and it's like a whole bunch of different like faces and cool art. But I also have like little small things all over me like that. It's just, small subtle things, almost like notes to myself, like they all have like a pretty deep meaning. But anyways, I always find it interesting, like, because, it's almost like that's kind of like the the thing, you know, for like fighters to do. You know, it seems like, because it's like it's so distinctive, you know, and it's like, you know, you see like just a chess piece of like Conor McGregor, they're like, oh, that's Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's almost like an identity. So that's what I was asking.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But anyways, yeah, like I said, anything you boys want to talk about?
Oh,
Did we forget anything?
Oh, no, I'm good.
I think we've been chatting for we've almost been chatting for 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
I know.
Oh, damn.
That went by fast.
I know. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this baby up. Adrian Yanez, I appreciate you for coming out today, man, and it's been a pleasure talking to you and getting to understand everything that what it is that you do, and you know, you are meant for greatness. So I'm very excited to see where your path leads next, and Barry, I also appreciate you for coming out here and co-hosting. It's been a pleasure.
I've been a fan of yours since the Dana White Contender Series. So when he brought this idea up, I was like ecstatic.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your future, man.
All right. Well, thank you boys for watching. And girls. All right, we're
Larry's like, yes.
Yes, I know. I don't know what he was talking about. Well, there he is.